what I was singing before. How we going? Cooldown isn't the right word. It almost needs like warm up. Because last week when I'd been streaming like, pretty constantly, it was like Truffle was fucking there. Like insta. But now, wait, why? It's saying that my freaking oh my god. What the fuck is happening? What the hell? Why is it doing this? What the fuck is wrong? I'm dropping 90% of my frames. What is happening? What? Okay, wait. Okay, wait. I think is it back? Oh my god, what was that? I could tell exactly what was going on. I think we're back. Okay. Yeah, no, at least I was very aware. Okay. Well, YouTube, you can fuck right off because I think it's YouTube's fault. Or at least partially their fault. Poor Mega the Struggle. Well, I was trying to do what the fucking platforms tell me to do. It's like set your keyframe interval to less than 4 a second, and I did that, and I fucking dropped 90% of my frames. Oh my god, what up everybody? Hello. Wow, that was crazy. That was crazy how frustrating that was. What's up? How we doing? I was feeling so ready. I was feeling so good. We're at the new time. Strangest intro I've seen, I bet. Oh, what up? And for some reason, Truffle's only grabbing Truffle only seems to be grabbing Twitch currently. But wait, is there more? Because I can see YouTube. I can see YouTube chat. Don't worry, I won't leave you behind. But let's see. Let's try to refresh. Let's try to refresh Truffle. Because you know what? In this case, I don't fucking blame Truffle. Because I just like restarted the YouTube event like 30 times. So I think I get it, Test from mod chat to Truffle chat. Look at that. That works. Just pretend it was a bit. Yeah, all of my technical issues this entire time have been all bits. I'm a master bidder. We've overthrown YouTube. It appears as though you have, honestly, Hoovy. Oh, man. You guys want to see something? Wait. Especially while we're potentially waiting for Truffle chat to load. I have been working. On Truffle, I see Twitch, and then me, Truffle user from Truffle. Oh, yeah, that's true. Tai is chatting directly from Truffle, so that would make sense. From YouTube. What up? Let's see, from YouTube. Also, you said on the time changes in about 2 weeks, OS viewing will be nearly impossible. Daylight savings will end, and all streams will start at 2:30 a.m. I'm not set deadly. Like I will definitely continue to, keep things in mind, but I'll show it to you like this. And I'll be very candid with like why, especially with the choice of start time, because I think most people understand like the desire for consistency, but especially in regards to the start time. If I'm starting any later than noon, I'm missing like most of the peak hours. So like when I was starting at like 4 or even like 12:30, I'm kind of already into it. I want to be catching the wave up. It's the same thing on Twitch. Now, that said, one of the things I am really heavily considering is considering like Tuesday and Thursday, especially because in terms of peak hours, those are my like lower days, is still doing like an 11:30 start on like Tuesday and Thursday or whatever, and then maybe doing like a 1 to 2 hour stream for the first start. So like 11:30 to 12:30, maybe return of Lunch Club, mayhaps. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays going live a little bit later. So, maybe starting closer to like 5 or 6 or something occasionally to get more of that Oz representation. And then Wednesdays, 11:30, it'll be like 11:30 to like like a fucking 9 p.m. My time. So ideally it'll be like back half of full episode Wednesdays, WEFs, Fuse. We happy Fuse. It'll be like that will be like targeting Oz, because if I go too late, then I'm getting rid of the European viewership. So that's the general idea around the current schedule, is a consistent 11:30 every day, just because it's easy for me, it's good for peak viewership, and then for Oz and Asian and Middle Eastern audiences, doing the full episode Wednesdays and then the occasional late night streams on like Tuesday, Thursday. That is the current idea behind it all. And yeah, that's also new stream format. It's very busy. I know that. It's very, very busy. I think it's a worse before it'll get worse before it gets better sort of situation. Because there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. I'm very fully aware. But hopefully, like I said, it'll get worse before it gets better, because I like a lot of the ideas that I'm playing with on it. What up, Montana? How you doing, Gremlin? So tired of Mega hates Twitch accusation that Mega now censors the YouTube crowd. Accurate of what's happening. Absolutely. Oh yeah, Truffle still hasn't picked up YouTube. I really wonder why. I haven't had any trouble with Truffle, which, maybe here. I might go to the dashboard and see if I can.
Such is the nature of.
No, stop playing. Stop playing, Matthew. We do not need you playing right now. Let's see, Truffle. No. There we go. Let me see if I can like reset the chat from here. Which there's an update for chat. That might have been it. It's kind of hope, honestly. Let's see, because if I go to first main test, let's just reset. Oh God! Oh no, that's not at all what I meant to do. No! Oh God. Okay. Well. Okay. There we go. It's a little bit better. We totally lost the freaking drop shadow on it, though. Let's see. Why is it all? Yeah, let's just stroke. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, whatever. The master banner. It's a Chrome extension that lets you see YouTube and Twitch chat in the YouTube chat box. Theoretically, it is. Theoretically, right now it is not working. And I don't know why. The only thing I can think of is that I fucked it up by like joining, starting like the live chat like 4 times. And that or not the live chat, but the YouTube stream. So my theory is that like Truffle hasn't like really realized that the YouTube stream is real yet. Because of that. No super chat. Yeah, like normally it like grabs onto this. Damn, I think it might just be broken. Man, that would really suck. I need to have like a backup chat. But ugh. Man, this is tough. Oh wait, no, Deadly just got put in there. No, that's not Truffle. Damn it. Okay, well we'll just hang out and talk while I in the background get a new chat set up. Man, Truffle, I thought I could trust you, and we'll figure Truffle out off stream. Funny, this start time is perfect for me, but just for today, I've got to run errands, so I'll tune in a bit later. Sounds good, Alexandra. And you know, it's tough. The actual start time itself, like I am trying to hit a lot of. I'm trying to hit a lot of like various, motivators here. So it is partially making it as wide as possible to like hit as many people as possible. But it is also like trying to hit peak. It is also trying to make it to where it's like the easiest for me to interact with. Okay, so yeah, this one's working just fine. So we'll just do this one for now. There we go. So there's absolutely I don't know. There's a lot of motivators around the time slots. So we'll have to see how it goes. I like this new time. What up, Spoopy? How you doing? Any update about Daggerheart content? I think got 2 confirmed players, I think. 1 full confirmed, 1 like 3/4 confirmed. And now it is. I think it is depending, because like I think I know some people that would play, but Daggerheart isn't like necessarily like their, like it wouldn't like fit like perfectly on their channel, you know. So right now I am trying to fill the other 2 slots with people that I think would be really into it. And like it would work really well for them, but I don't have like a direct mode of contact to them. So that is the thing I am balancing right now. Is like I think I have like people that if it comes down to it will just like be down to like essentially help me out, because I don't think it would work perfectly for their stuff. But in before I solidify them, I want to try to find people who I think it would be like really good content for. But I think sooner rather than later, you guys will be seeing me GM. Whoa. So later one day, if someone works in America or days in Australia, they should have at least 1 stream they can make it on a week. My goal is to always have a consistent stream where everyone can make at least part of it, which is why I'm definitely keeping full episodes. That was like very important to me, is to have at least 1. And then it's trying to maximize availability without crushing my own spirit beyond that. Well, I guess I'm modifying my sleep pattern to wake up at 2:30 for that sweep. See, I mean, Deadly, it's tough. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. And, like, you do whatever you want, but it's tough. I don't want you to have to modify your shit, but I also got to think about as many of the factors as I can. I'm giving Mustang the bird right now, but no one will be able to approve it. What up, Grimvane? If any mods delete comments, do they delete for you with this new system in case of spoilers? Theoretically, yeah. So theoretically, Truffle's actually better about like if something is deleted. Let me check to see if Truffle did it get hasn't shut down. Sorry, Mustang. Wait, was Hans in? No, Hans was in Twitch. Shit. Why? Why does Truffle not recognize YouTube? That's so weird. So strange, so odd. I'll have to test more. Oh, and Slobs reset when I hit it. Of course it did. But so yeah, theoretically in Truffle, it's much better about like if someone deletes something, then it actually gets deleted for me. And it would get deleted on here would be the big thing, because a lot of times I watch chat through the on-screen thing. Because a lot of times like I'm watching like what the actual like layout of stream looks like. So yeah, if I can get Trouble consistently working, it's just like a better thing overall. And it was really consistently working. It was consistently working more than this one. So I don't know why it's not right now, but I think it's because of the issues at the top of stream. I wonder if it's Truffle's side. I couldn't even log into Truffle. Like I had to deactivate Truffle to use regular YouTube. Oh, it definitely could be. I know that this like chat functionality, especially from Truffle, is like relatively new. It's only like 2 or 3 months old. So it could definitely be that because there was just, you know what, that would make sense. There was just a Truffle update that I had to install, and that update might have broken shit. That sucks. Well, we'll have it in the background. It's a good reminder to, especially when on-screen chat is so important to me, I should have multiple ways of... I should have multiple layers of redundancy around it. Absolutely. So it's a good reminder for me. If it's not too much to ask, could at least one of the critical eyes be easier to watch in Australia? Even though I like the other streams, they're the main thing I tune in for. So are you essentially saying like have one of the critical eyes, one of like the half episodes be later? I'll have to think about it because could do quarter episodes. I could theoretically do quarter episodes like once a week. So have like either Monday or Wednesday be like even like the half episode split in half. Maybe. I mean the full episode Wednesday is ideally what I'm going for in terms of like making Critical Eyes easier to watch live. I'll have to think about ways to get it later for me. We'll see. Maybe I'll keep it in mind. I don't guarantee anything, but I will think about it. Can I be on your 17th on the wait list if 16 other people cancel before me? Sure, on Quixote. Yeah, for sure. Just 1 week. I only asked because I wouldn't know. I only asked because I wouldn't know without asking. Yeah, absolutely. No harm in asking. I don't, guarantee to do it, but absolutely, I don't. Yeah, I got no problem with that. Fourth might be hard for you to split. That's my only worry is because like, if plot wise, I thought it would be easy to split it into fourths. I'd be totally fine with that. But I think it'd be hard to find good, like, consistent start times that actually make it fourth eps. So I don't know. Just freeball it, man. Absolutely. Time to load a bowl. Fuck yeah. Ads in 5 minutes in case you want to change it. No, let's run the ads. We'll keep doing, just a little bit of chatting, a little bit of talking, and then we'll go into the main shtick, main spiel. Wait, I need to set up my macro again. I used to have a macro that would pull up everything that I needed for stream, and now I do not have that. So let's run an ad break. The video download was canceled. Thanks, Twitch. Oh, Twitch is mad at me. Everyone's mad at me, dude. Buffering? Oh, God, I hope not. Oh, God, I hope not. I mean, I saw maybe like 2 more dropped frames, but I think we're good. Okay. But yeah, so I mean, I think tomorrow the first hour is just vocal warm-ups. Absolutely. I think tomorrow will be more Daggerheart. I think we'll actually get through character creation and start looking at some GMing stuff. I will tell you guys, I already have a bit of a custom world idea for Daggerheart, because one of the things that I think Daggerheart does, also, I think it's really funny. Me the other day saying that I wanted to branch out and, not just be the critical role guy, and then here I am diving into Daggerheart. Doing a great job at not just being the critical role guy. But look, I'm into it, man. So I think I want to create a character tomorrow and then also start looking into the GMing stuff. I think one of the things that I'm really interested in running in Daggerheart is sort of a mythical feel, if that makes any sense. Like, at least you're not just the critical role D&D guy. Yeah, true. I guess it is all branch out. I really think that, like, I was thinking about like what Daggerheart would be good for, right? Because I think D&D is good for certain types of games, certain types of feels. Same thing with Blades. And I think one of the things that I'm really interested in Daggerheart is sort of running the kind of extreme sides of the spectrum in terms of like combat types. Like, I think that D&D is really good at like very equivalent pitched battles where it seems like either side could win and like sides are relatively equally powered. Like, I think that that's one of like D&D's big strengths, because it turns like this relatively, like it allows you to have like these relative like rules light outside of combat to set up the narrative of the combat, and then you can run the combat as this very like tactical puzzle while still allowing a lot of room for creativity and ingenuity. Like, I think that's like D&D's big strength. What I'm seeing so far with Daggerheart is unique characters, and with the combat system especially, I am seeing that you don't need to worry about the action economy. Like, I think that's one of the big things, is it has a relatively robust combat system that is not tied to any sort of action economy. So I'm thinking, my mind immediately goes to the players against large groups or the players against single combatants. So if you've ever played like Monster Hunter, like my mind goes to Monster Hunter. Of like, Monster Hunter is typically a group of like 1 to 4 PCs, players, combating like one beast, one giant beast, and maybe you run into some others on the way, but it's normally kind of this very lopsided combat where you 4 generally weaker hunters are fighting one very powerful beast. And so that's sort of where my mind goes, but I'm not a Monster Hunter guy. I'm not really into the games. And so my mind goes more towards like Shadow of the Colossus, right? Like if you don't know that game, it is like sort of think of if you've played Breath of the Wild, the 4 like divine beasts. Like, that is where my mind goes when I think about something that Daggerheart might be like very uniquely suited towards, is players fighting these big, divine, mythical monsters. These like almost like not Titanfall, Attack on Titan, almost. So yeah, that's where my brain goes, and that's sort of what I'm starting to ideate I'll be interested to see how exactly the intro adventure runs it, like what the intro adventure chooses to focus on. But yeah, that's one of the directions, at least, that my mind is sort of floating in. I also see a lot of opportunity for some solid exploration, mostly because there is a mechanic that you can interact with that is not as like punishing as something like exhaustion, right? Like I can give out stress as consequences pretty regularly. And so that means that like non-combat challenges are also like very interactable. And because stress is needed as a like resource to do some of your abilities, there is like a significant downside towards like doing stressful stuff that I can really play with as a GM. So those are a lot of the ways that my brain is going in for that. Anyways, I've seen a lot of negativity around Daggerheart on TikTok, which has been a bit disheartening. Really? I mean, it's interesting. Like, I am not on the social medias. I don't really interact really at all on, like, Twitter. I don't interact at all on TikTok. I don't, like... And when I say I don't interact, I mean, I don't even, like, have an account. Like, I don't have a Twitter account. I have a Twitch account to post on, but, like, I haven't been posting on it. For anyone who follows me there, they will know. So yeah, I don't see, I remember on the last Daggerheart stream, someone came in and was saying that, like, you know, they were seeing people on Twitter saying like Daggerheart doesn't have a vision or whatever. And I can't tell you what they're saying online. I am excited about it. I think it seems cool. I think it seemed like they have something very specific that they were aiming for. And, you know, we'll see how it plays out in practice. I have my concerns about it, but I would say I am cautiously optimistic. And the more that I read and the more I think about it, the more my optimism goes up and my caution goes down. I went into it basically like neutral. Like I was really not expecting a lot out of Daggerheart, just like straight up. And y'all know that I am no Critical Role Matt Mercer. I don't know what would you call it? Simp. I don't like that word, but you know, I'm not going to just gold star everything that Critical Role puts out. But yeah, I don't know. I think Daggerheart looks dope. I've seen a lot from people who don't get that it's meant to be different. Yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, it's its own system, and I think it needs to be. You know, I've been very personally ignoring the troll hater responses to DH, but I have seen some good critiques. Not worth engaging with ones who are set on hating it. Yeah, like I think that there's a lot of things to critique about it, and I have not been like purely positive. The more I think about it, the more I still don't like the criticals system. But there are things about every system that I don't like. And, you know, we'll see. I don't know. Also, the feedback from those who've actually played it is a lot more interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I want to, especially with this system, that's why I'm like really trying to push forward putting together this group to actually play it. Because I really want to get my own personal experience with it. There's a lot of things that I either think will be fine. Like, I know during the Daggerheart streams, we've talked about like the action economy, some people not being into it, like the lack of initiative and the lack of turns. And I have said, I don't think it'll be that big a deal, but it's very much something that I don't think you can truly know until you actually get into it. Yeah, AKL. Yeah, absolutely. Some people absolutely make a living from praising CR uncritically or dumping on it uncritically. Absolutely. There's always going to be a market for that sort of thing. The format of TikTok seems to favor negativity over positivity. I mean, generally, social media in general favors negativity over positivity. YouTube is not immune. Twitch is not immune. I think that in general, as platforms that have wholly longer form content, I think that it's a little bit less so because there is more time for nuance. But like, especially TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, like these things that are very, very short form in all aspects, definitely favor stripping out nuance, which like, if you have a negative take, right? If you have a critique, if you have a negative view of Daggerheart, and the platform that you're posting to absolutely incentivizes the stripping of context and the stripping of nuance, right? It absolutely prioritizes like getting it as small as possible. Once all of the nuance and context is chopped out, it's just going to be purely what it was. Like a lot of the things that I say on Critical Eyes are either ultimately I like it or I don't like it. Like it's either negativity or positivity. But I've even told you guys on Critical Eyes, generally me critiquing and being negative, I have more to say about it a lot of the times. Like I have more like stuff to go into. So I think that there's like, and that's, I think, part of making like an analysis and like a creative analysis product. So I think that there's like a lot of factors of, I think negativity will always encourage like more engagement. And when you incentivize stripping out context, it's going to just be, I fucking hate it at the end of it. You know, if you're not on social media, how will you know when King Charles dies? Is King Charles British? I don't follow royalty at all. I don't follow celebrities either, which, I mean, I consider royalty basically celebrities. People send you death threats for liking music, so that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, true. I'm trying to con someone else to DM. I feel you, Oxilly. Stan. Yeah. Stan is a good one. Yeah. I've lately heard people making such a stink about no initiative, like they've never played TTRPGs other than D&D. I mean, a lot of people probably haven't, right? A lot of people probably haven't. And there are like very distinct concerns with no initiative. Like I don't want to sit here and say that like it is a purely positive thing. It's a trade-off. Organizing, I mean, even in the last episode, right? We talked about like Matt. I got like really like on Matt the moment he put them into initiative. And then Matt turned out to not do a lot of the things that I thought he was going to do with it. And like in something like Baldur's Gate 3, you have like turn-based mode where even you're not in combat, where you can essentially like roll initiative. And, you know, it's like a way to organize things a lot easier. Like, I think that the lack of initiative is a legitimate concern for some people, but I think that it has like very distinct effects, and you can't just say that it's bad or good. I think it just supports a certain style of play. Yeah, which is probably the case. Yeah, it probably is the case that they've never played a TTRPG other than D&D. And to be fair to them, to be fair to people who haven't played a TTRPG other than D&D, it's hard to. Like, it's one of the things that I don't get on people too much about, like, homebrewing, like, really complex systems into D&D. Because ultimately, like, D&D in North America, Europe, is the most played TTRPG. Like, that's not the case in Asia, but in NA and Europe, it's the most played TTRPG. So if you are going to play a TTRPG, it is most likely that you will end up playing D&D, and it's hard to find tables for other stuff. It's hard to find tables for D&D sometimes. So I think there's definitely a core of that, of like, I haven't played a TTRPG other than D&D, but also, you know, I try to have empathy for those people, because it might not have been their choice that they've never played one other than D&D, and they're still trying to like think through it and like give their critiques. Initiative is a take it or leave it. It's a good control system and easy enough to homebrew into the system, but certainly not required if you're able to manage it. True. The conspiracy theories about British royal family right now are crazy and annoying. Lol. I never really got into TikTok. Every take there just seems very black and white from what I hear. Something's either perfect or hellishly bad. Yeah. I mean, that's like I think that in general, that is probably what you're going to find in short form. There are always going to be examples of nuance. There are going to be people that are doing it different. But I think that's just what you're going to find on a lot of TikTok. I used to be kind of into TikTok, but in, I think 2019, I got rid of Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, but I was still on TikTok. And then in like 2020 or 2021, I got rid of TikTok. At least as like an enjoyer, like a scroller. Like I still post on there. I should post on there more because it's good to like build an audience with. But yeah, I think getting off of that like level of social media is one of the best things that I did for my own mental health, honestly. It's one of my only healthy habits I think I have. I don't have very many healthy habits. Like I'm not a model for nutrition. I'm not a model for sleeping. I'm not a model for any of that, but like I think getting off of social media is like a net positive. Another thing odd people highlighting is the roleplay element being stressed means quieter players will be skipped or talked over, but there's nothing stopping that from happening in 5e. I mean, I think that in general is a relative concern. Like if you are quiet, having mechanics that tell you what to do can be useful. Like they can be like useful tools. And so generally more freeform systems without initiative, systems that, you know, require or encourage a level of roleplay within the mechanics. Like I'm thinking of like the bard mechanics, the troubadour, where like, you know, it's like, oh, if you give a speech with at least 3 rhyming words, right? There are those sorts of mechanics that I think will be tougher for quieter players to engage with. But I think it is a difference in like the type of systems. I think on the last Diehard stream, I was like, you know, the less rules you have, I think the harder it is going to be for a like quieter player to like get up and engage with that. Like the more you have to improv, essentially, the more you have to improv, the harder it is going to be if you're not used to improving. You know, like it's going to be easier for a quieter person to play a board game than it is for them to play, you know, an improv game like a charades. And so I think, you know, Daggerheart is sort of a move towards a more charades type game style than D&D is more like a board game. And so I think that is going to be harder for quieter people to engage with, but that's also not like an inherently bad thing. It just is what it is. You were into TikTok before it got popular? I don't know about that. I have no idea when TikTok blew up, but I was into Vine back in the day. I was very into Vine. Nothing is perfect except for Travis. Absolutely. Oh, thank you for the follow, Gentleman Crow. Thank you. I cannot stand TikTok. Too fast, too loud, too much. Yeah, I feel you. You're our hydration model? Dude, even that. Part of the reason that I always tell you guys fucking drink water, hydrate or dihydrate is because I need to do it. Because I'm fucking bad at it. That is part of the reason that I do that. I should not be the hydration model, but I know what I need to do, and I can tell you guys the same. I've gotten to the point where I won't really criticize a system until I play at least once. I mean, I think that is absolutely fair. I'm, you know, making entertainment content out of it, but yeah, ultimately my critiques and my analysis don't mean nearly as much until I've played this shit. I absolutely think that, which is why I feel like, especially now that I am so interested in it, I feel like I have to play it because I don't feel like I'll be able to like fully realize my critique until I do. I'm one for trying different systems because for the most part, each are different and provide different things. Absolutely, Gentleman Cow. Absolutely. I thought I would like Chronicles, Vampire the Masquerades. Oh boy, was I wrong. That's fair. All right. I think let's do takeaways and comment review. comment from Deadly Spark, friend of the show, was in here earlier. I don't know if they still are. Talking about Allura. Wait, let me see. Oh, wait, can I even show this? How do I get this on screen? All right, I'll just read it. I just realized that I may have screwed myself in terms of being able to put things on screen. Okay, so it was on the moment of where Matt mentioned that Allura was on a timer. With this knowledge in hand, it's what makes me believe that every detail Matt laid out over these few episodes was all heavily planned out, knowing exactly when he wanted things to arrive and setting timers to accommodate. It's also what put me firmly on the side of the fence of feeling like Thordak didn't come in to save Vox from a TPK, but more just part of the world building and personalities of the dragons. I find it an interesting detail and a peek behind the curtain of Matt's planning. Absolutely. And I think to absolutely clarify, because we've gotten a bit far away from it at this point. I think the where I actually was like talking about like Vorugol and Thordak was like, what, 2 Fridays ago? It's been a little bit. So to update kind of my opinion on the Thordak Vorugol situation. And if I'm if I'm contradicting anything I said at the time, consider my opinion updated. But when I say that I feel like Thordak was like saving the party, I'm referring to an out of character feel for me. Like sometimes coincidences, like within real life, sometimes coincidences absolutely happen. Kind of like the Scanlan conversation that we were talking about, where like sometimes massive moments of change and massive building of change happens all inside of someone's head and they don't show it at all. Like that, I feel like that is sort of similar to like sometimes coincidences just happen in real life, but they can be a little tricky within storytelling, especially when the coincidence is the line between people, like party members living or dying, right? Like Thordak showing up and coincidentally happening to save the party is a weird feel. Regardless of if it was like planned, regardless of what like the intention or the plan was for it, the reality of like how it played out at the table, which I don't think that like the reality of like them going to Grayskull is like that hard to predict. It wouldn't have been like my top 3 places they would have gone, but it may have been my top 5, right? Like the result of Thordak's actions within that just so happened to include saving the party from at least some of them dying, in my opinion. And I think that doesn't feel very good. Now, in terms of like what was planned out, I actually think that the Allura, and this is transitioning a bit into my takeaway, I think that Allura is a very good example of something that I haven't seen such a direct example of, which is what I have been calling a shortcut. And it's something that I'm pretty bad at using. And it is something that I think is necessary for one-shots, which obviously, you know, that wasn't an example of a one-shot. But I think that Allura in this case is an example of that, because me understanding, you know, Matt's tone and what he said, you know, I may be misunderstanding it, but I am assuming that when he says she was on a timer, he means like a real world, like Allura comes in at, you know, fucking 5:45 p.m. sort of timer. And so with that, when you tie a in-game event to an out-of-game thing, that is generally what I would refer to as a shortcut, especially with what Allura like represented within that scene. She was going to come in and shake things up. She was going to talk about Thordak. She was going to talk to Vox about all of that. And I think that, again, I'm referencing her as a shortcut, because it is essentially when you're planning out this session, when Matt's planning out the session, he's saying, okay, my assumption of how I think Matt's planning went for this, right? I'm assuming that he said to himself, and this could be wrong, but this is my assumption of how it went. if they go somewhere in Amon, I will either try to funnel them to Grayskull, and then we'll have the Vorugal Thordak interaction, or if they go somewhere else in Amon, Vorugal will show up to wherever they went, whether they went to like the ruins of the Lyceum, the ruins of Allura's Tower, wherever. Vorugal will show up, and then we'll have the Vorugal Thordak interaction. And then, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, that's maybe taking up the first half. So I will set Allura to come in sometime in the second half because it feels right in the fiction, right? For her to have, felt this disturbance, taken some time to come. But the fact that it is tied to an out-of-game time, like, that means that it is not tied to a specific in-game time, right? There's no, we're not talking about, an initiative turn timer, which is what I would assume Thordak was on. I'm assuming Thordak was, after this many turns of the Vorugal combat, Thordak comes in. It wasn't like that, right? That is an in-world timer. Allura was on an out-of-world timer. And so it doesn't matter what's happening. It doesn't matter if we're an initiative. It doesn't matter how long has actually elapsed within the fiction. Allura is going to come in, and she's going to break up whatever is currently happening. And I think that is a really good example of how to essentially prep to break past analysis paralysis. I think that Matt correctly predicted that they would not really know what to do, that they would be kind of scatterbrained, that they would be arguing, that they would be, maybe spinning their wheels a little bit. And so he says, okay, at this time in real life, Allura is coming in. Now, I don't know, and the interesting thing about this is you're not going to set an IRL timer for something that you're not going to use, right? I think if Allura is on a real-world timer, either if the party's at Grayskull still, she's showing up to Grayskull like she did. If they're not at Grayskull, my assumption is that she is contacting them via sending, via scrying, via some magical communication means. Allura is contacting them and maybe setting up a meet point or something. Imagine they had teleported to fucking the middle of the woods. I still think that Allura would have been on that timer, and I still think that she would have interacted with the party in some way. It just would have changed depending on exactly what they did. So I think it's a really good example of a shortcut of okay, I want them to have time to process what just happened. I want them to have time to interact with each other. But I don't want to let it get so off the rails that we waste the entire second half of the session doing that. I'm going to have Allura come in and sort of break up that pacing. She's going to deliver some more exposition, and then we will have Vox Machina move on with maybe more of a goal in mind. So I think that's a very interesting example of what I would maybe call... Allura in this case is a very weird example of rigid versus flex planning of having her be on a timer is very rigid. That's very rigid planning of him. But the fact that she was on a timer to me indicates that she was absolutely going to be used no matter what. Maybe the exact form that she's used in might have changed slightly, but I do think that she was going to be used in some way, no matter what, based on the fact that there was a real out-of-game timer. So it's sort of like a flex plan, in the same way that I think Vorugal was probably a flex plan. But yeah, that's I thought that was very interesting. It was a very good example of that for me, and I'm going to have to consider how I take that forward into my games of putting more of those in shortcuts in. It's very interesting. Would Thordak saving the party have been better if he said daddy's home? Absolutely. No argument there. Actually, with Thordak coming in during the initiative and Allura doing the very same thing next episode, I think 6-second combat rounds are very poorly suited for any outside world interference. I mean, that's the interesting thing, right? That's why I'm saying that Allura was this weird mix of rigid versus flexible planning, is that if Allura is coming in at a real world time, that sort of means that the in-game actions of the party sort of change where she's going to come in, right? If they take a long rest, she's coming in a day later. If they get into initiative, she's coming in 10 minutes later. So that's this interesting aspect of relating an in-game event to an out-of-game timer, what have you, right? It's a very interesting consequence of it setting it to an out-of-game timer means that it is more about the pacing of the session, right? Whatever that event is, it is meant to impact the session storytelling and pacing rather than necessarily following through on world interactions, right? Because if it was just like Allura senses her Amon runes go down, she has a certain amount of time until, her teleport completes, and then she is in Grayskull Keep, then when exactly that happens has to be tracked by the DM in terms of how the party moves forward, right? If the party gets into initiative, that slows down when Allura is going to show up. If the party decides to do a short rest, that speeds up when Allura is going to show up. If she is directly tied to in-fiction thought processes, which I think, like, for example, Vorugal and Thordak were tied to in-game events and progressions, and I think that's sort of that, like, cutscene type feel. But, or like, world building, what have you. But Allura being tied to an out-of-game clock means that her interference, I think, is more about the session and the pace and the party. Oddly enough. And I can see at a normal table being a really feels bad moment. And I mean, there's a level of like, what is planned, what is not. Like, I definitely I think I might have talked about Vorugal being, or not Vorugal, Thordak being like improv at the time. I don't think Vorugal or Thordak was improv now. I do not think that is the case. I think it was all planned. Like, and I don't necessarily think of it as too bad. I just think of it all as one long cutscene at this point. But I think that the weird part of it was like in between the segments of the cutscene, it almost felt like we weren't in one for a moment. And so there's this odd implication, to me at least, that like Vorugal was like tracking the party. I don't think it was. But like when you're doing that sort of thing of like, and this is one of the dangers of like flex planning. Like I've pitched flex planning quite often as like something good to do. Of like, kind of like, I mentioned earlier, like, oh, I think that like, maybe Vorugal just would have showed up wherever they were if it was like within the Amon city limits. That's like a flexible plan, right? That's like a floating interaction, floating encounter, floating combat of like, it'll just happen no matter where you go. To Matt's credit, this is an absolute compliment. I think that one of the mystiques around Matt is like how thoroughly he plans, right? How much like detail he has, where everything feels like an Allura, right? Even though that's impossible. Like that is just absolutely unfeasible to have, everything on like real world timers, like tracking like minis on a map. Like that is totally unfeasible. But I think that Matt has done a really good job, and this is part of the like black magic of being like a really good DM, is making your flex plans seem like they are rigid. Because like, people have very rightly argued all of the ways that it makes sense that Vorugal would have been going to Grayskull Keep, and that it was just a coincidence that the party went there. I don't know if it was or not. My intuition is that Vorugal encounter was probably flexible and probably would have happened no matter where they went. But absolutely, to Matt's credit, he constructs his flexible plans, I think, to where they all feel rigid. They all feel like that's the only way it could have ever happened, and that the actions of the party are only affecting the things that they're directly affecting, rather than probably affecting a lot more things on the back end. I think that Matt's amazing at that. I've praised his dramatic timing before, but I'll just drop the dramatic. I'll just say I'll fucking praise his timing, because it takes an incredible level of like precision and skill to not like murder yourself, mire yourself in just planning massive amounts of wasted content, while also not making players feel like they're on the railroad, while also like making all of the things that they encounter feel like they just happen to encounter them by going that direction, right? Like Matt does a really good job of, when you come to a fork in the road, making it feel like someone introduced me to this, the Quantum Ogre. I think it was Ryan Immel, of like, if you're at a fork in the road and there are two doors, and no matter which one you choose, there's an ogre behind both of them. Like, you always fight the same ogre no matter which door you choose. Matt, I think, does, and I'm not saying that like most of Matt's stuff is Quantum Ogre. Like, I don't think that is the case, but he does an amazing job of making you feel like there is never a Quantum Ogre, that it is absolutely always unique and bespoke to that exact situation. I think he's amazing at that sort of feel. And that is truly like, I think, one of the marks of a great DM, because it's the mark of a DM that's not going to burn themselves out. Like, you are going to make this really cool feeling campaign without burning yourself out doing crazy amounts of wasted work, So I think that is absolutely one of his huge strengths. I saw it as, if they are still in the area by a certain time in game frame, like afternoon this day, Allura would show up. Maybe. Hard to know. I would assume Matt's timers were in-game, like X in-game hours after the dragons first arrived, but I could be wrong. I think with how concerned and how well Matt does with like end of session stuff, like ending it on cliffhangers, I have to imagine that he has his fingers a bit more on the scale than that. And that's a lot harder to track, Ed. Like, that's super duper hard. That's what I'm sort of talking about. Is like, that requires extreme levels of effort. I feel like Matt would always be like staring at his notes and like writing things and like tracking things if it were that precise and that based on in-game stuff. Because like in-game, like time management is not super direct in D&D. Like, it's very wibbly wobbly. It depends on if you're an initiative, if you're doing a rest, if you're doing downtime. Like, the level at which time passes is so irregular that basing anything on in-game passage of time is, I don't want to say risky, but it's a lot of work. Unless it's something like the Thordak intrusion with the Vorugal fight, where it's like, okay, as a DM, that's not too bad for me, because the moment that the encounter starts, the moment that Vorugal gets there, I literally just have a turn timer of like, okay, now it doesn't like, it's easier for me to like track in my head of like, okay, just fill in segments, just track the number of turns with little tally marks until Thordak is going to get there. But if you are tracking things based on the out of combat movement of in-fiction time, that is incredibly difficult. Because you have to make it feel right to the players that much time has passed. And that means that you're going to be like having to constantly like remind them of the passage of time. It's very hard. It's very, very difficult. And not very feasible to do on a large scale. Maybe Matt is just really good at what he does, but it always felt in game to me. I mean, either you're right, and so there's kind of like there's two complementary paths here. Either you're right, and it's like everything is being tracked in game. It is based on the in-game passage of time. He is measuring distances, and he is doing that all live while not seeming like he's doing that. That's fucking impressive. I honestly feel like that is such a ludicrous level of work and effort that I find it infeasible to think that he's doing that. But then on the other side of it, he is making people feel like that's what he's doing while not doing it. And that is, I personally think, almost more impressive. Like, this is like a weird compliment where, like, I don't think he's doing the impressive thing that most people seem to think he's doing. But in relation to that, the fact that he makes people feel like that, while, again, I think not doing it, is almost more impressive. Like, I think it almost takes more skill. But you know, it's I would love to ask him about it someday. I'd love to ask him about it. I'm not sure Allura was on a timer initially. My guess is she was going to arrive whenever their wheels start to spin. I assume the timer Matt mentioned was thought up once combat started. Could be. Absolutely could be. Yeah, like he's because to your point, Sputnik, right? To your point, like, if he was going to plan on Allura getting there, like, what if they just didn't go to Grayskull, right? He didn't know that they were going to go to Grayskull until the session started. And so I do think it's reasonable to think that Allura might have been thought up during the break. Not like Allura, like, arriving at all, but, like, the timer specifically for, like, when she arrives. I think that could have been thought up during the break. Or during the combat, yeah. It's possible. That's much more like we won't know, and we have to speculate a lot more, but since I only quickly pop in, hold the line. Glad to see the intro is still going. Absolutely, only an hour later. Since she was doing it based on sensing the runes, I figured it was an in-world timer. I mean, ARO, that is the sort of language, right? And that's where I talk about, like, Matt being so good at this, about, like, planning his flex plans and his language and his descriptions around things that feel in fiction. Like, that is an amazing contrivance is the wrong word. That's an amazing reasoning for why Allura showed up. Like, that is a perfect Watsonian reasoning for why she is here right now at this time. That's absolutely, like, and maybe that's a lesson, is that's all you need. As a DM, you just need to think through it that little bit to make it feel right and to make it feel in fiction. Absolutely. I mean, and I could be wrong. When I heard him say timer at the end, I took it to mean out of game timer. Could be wrong. But managing in world and in fiction and, in like on the table timers, especially out of combat, is just a lot more difficult. So in terms of that, I assume it was an out of game timer, but I absolutely could be wrong. And they could have missed some exposition from leaving too soon. I mean, I absolutely think that they could have missed exposition from leaving too soon. I think if they had left before the, real world timer went off, they would have totally missed it. I think that's very fair. Pin a no spoilers here in YouTube chat. Oh, yeah, let's do it. How do I... There we go. No spoilers. Boop. Wasn't Vorugal just chasing the skyship, and when it fell, they were like, "Oh, a keep. Don't mind if I do." I don't think Vorugal was chasing a skyship. Could have been. I believe the first time that we see Vorugal destroy Allura's Keep, and then we see Vorugal once Vox gets to Greyskull, we see Vorugal just shred a crowd in a field, and then he turns towards the keep. I think that was all we saw. I think Matt does a great job of not letting anyone peek behind the curtain. He very much feels like he has things prepped out in much more detail than is probably reality. That's kind of what I'm getting at, Ink Charm, and I feel like that sounds to like, I think like on gut instinct, that sounds like an insult, but I really do mean it as a compliment of like, I think that he absolutely portrays having things more prepped than I think is reality. And again, I think that sounds insulting, but I really mean it absolutely complimentary. Why isn't no spoilers working? No C1 spoilers. If you have a question about what is or isn't considered a type of spoiler, ask. I don't know. All of my bots, all of my fucking stream chat, none of it's working. What the fuck? That's so crazy. I look over and see Megaphone into his speech. He's perched on his chair like Marisha. Apparently, me and Marisha have the goblin perch. To me, it's about stretching out my ankles. I gotta build stretchy ankles because if your ankles are stretchy enough, if you're a rubber man like Luffy, can't roll your ankles. Matt gave himself a lot of leeway given where he ended the previous session. Wherever they had chosen to go, he had a week to prep, no need to consider where they might have gone. I mean, you say like a week to prep, but he's also like, trying to pursue, a real life relationship, real life friendships, a job. Like, I think at this point in like campaign 3, where like Critical Role is his job, he can probably prep in significantly more detail. But when this was not his full-time gig, a week is not that long to prep. It is absolutely not that long to prep. But I do think he probably prepped a few vague plans. Like, my assumption is that it was like, in the city limits, we're going to have the Vorugal Thordak interaction, maybe the Allura interaction as well. And then out of city limits, if it's a different city that was getting hit by one of the dragons, we probably have like a planned encounter for that and like how that's going to go. And then if it's out of the city limits and not to a city getting hit by one of the other dragons, then we have a third plan. Like, my assumption is that Matt had about 3 probably 3 full out plans going into this session, and that he was ready to trigger each one depending on Vox Machina's actions. That is my assumption of Matt's level of prep for this. I ended on a cliffhanger last night with my group. It's really fun. Oh, absolutely. It is absolutely fun. My problem is honestly rarely how Matt ends the session. It is mostly when he ends a session in a way that necessitates a certain type of start to the next session. Most of the time, it is like, oh no, because he ended it this way, we have to start the next one this way. And I don't like starting sessions that way. But cliffhangers are absolutely a lot of fun. I encountered the opposite of a quantum ogre a few times. The DM prepared 2 paths with different outcomes and just asked left door or right door, but I have no reason to choose one over the other. That is, I mean, yes. Yeah, absolutely, G. Hercup. That is an absolutely good and separate conversation of like, you have to have a choice at any junction. So like in the dungeon that me and Ryan made during the Exquisite Corpse dungeon, we made it to where at the very beginning of the dungeon, there were stairs leading up and stairs leading down. The stairs leading up had water draining down them, and the stairs down below, you could hear voices. Neither of those really mean anything at the end of the day, but they give the players something to latch onto, something to debate, something to make their decision based on. So yeah, I absolutely I think you absolutely have to have some decision making. The most fun I had with the cliffhanger was at the end of a boss battle. Left one player petrified and partially broken, and the DM absconded with an incredibly important relic followed by a 2-week break. Oh no! I feel like the in-game timers in D&D are either on the initiative or like the afternoon of this day, nothing in between. I mean, I think that those are the two ways to do it that don't lead to an absolute ludicrous amount of work. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. I do know in general there are situations where he said the group short rested, so this happened. If they long rested, here's how it would have changed things. Yeah, which I think does go into kind of what Sign is saying, and I would agree. If you're going to have in-world timers, I agree that they are best handled within initiative or related to a certain number of long rests, right? Like, or even like short rests. I think that trying to track time when players are out of combat is incredibly difficult unless you tie it to some sort of like milestone time passage thing, like long rest, short rest, downtime. Maybe specify all CR spoilers. Oh yeah, true. True. You a One Piece fan? No, but I wanna be. I tried watching One Piece. Yeah, it's true. I'll just specify CR spoilers. I wanna be, but the animated with the English dub is really poorly paced. It's really poorly paced. It's very... Oh, now Nightbot's here. Oh my god. Now Nightbot showed up. Yeah, I would love to be a One Piece fan, but I have to figure out how to watch it. So I guess I'm a fan of super long form. Or am I misremembering? They chose Grayskull end of previous session, no? I believe... You know, Sputnik? You might be wrong. You might be right. I thought they chose Grayskull at the beginning of this session because I believe that the beginning of 40 was the Ray-Sean interaction. You know? I could be wrong. Yeah, they chose Grayskull at the end of Omens. Really? Very interesting. Okay. Well, if they chose Grayskull at the end of Omens, that would make sense. Okay. In that case, there's a lot. That makes things significantly easier to plan out. That makes way more sense of like why Allura's on that timer. I think that makes total sense in terms of the prep. Okay. You know what? That's just a good thing to highlight. Good on Matt for like choosing where to end the sessions. Between 39 and 40, that's a great cut of them choosing Iman or choosing Grayskull so that then he can prep out everything that's going to happen at Grayskull, Vorugal, Thordak, Allura. It's a good choice on where to cut. A lot of times, if I don't have that distinctive a cut where like it's kind of vague what they might do next time, sometimes I will ask my players, hey, what do you guys plan on doing next time? Like out of session. Because then it helps you focus your prep a lot more. Ray-Sean was end of 39. Interesting. They rushed into the portal to Grayskull, and then it was called more or less. I see. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense with what we saw. Absolutely. Okay. I think let's get into it. I don't know why Live Split is going. Live Split has just been rolling this whole time. Okay. And also, so like I said, it's a little busy. I know. But I think that the bones of something cool are here. Especially once I get my my tablet software, but no CR. So we have it pinned and written here. No CR spoilers. No CR spoilers. Hooray! And I can draw things if I want. Okay. What up, Mark? How you doing? Okay. I think chronic illness buddies. I also have the Eds. My friend Eds. Wait, what is? Oh no, I missed a lot of this chat. Dang it. And Truffle still isn't. Come on, Truffle. Truffle, what are you doing? I wonder if I refresh cache. We're gonna try refreshing the cache one more time. Nah, it still doesn't like it. Okay. Bug. No. Bug was getting very upset. If you have stretchy ankles, you can sublux and dislocate them instead. Exactly. I mean, literally, I went to the doctor, and I was like, "Hello, doctor. I'm having this issue where I roll my ankles all the time. Like, I roll my ankles more than anyone should be rolling their ankles. I was rolling my ankles like every other week. And it is like legitimately impacting my life and my like ability to do like, physical things because I'm constantly rolling my ankles." And they were like, and I was like, "What's wrong with me?" And they were like, "Nothing is wrong with you. You just like genetically don't have very stretchy ankles, and your ankles aren't very strong either." They did like a bunch of tests. They're like, "Your ankles are pretty fucking weak, and they are pretty not flexible. And you need to strengthen them and get them more flexible." And they were like, "If your ankles are strong enough and flexible enough, you can just stand on them. So then it's like impossible to roll them." And yeah, so that's what I did for like the next pretty much ever since then. I've been doing ankle exercises to get them more stretchy. I know it's not D&D, but Jake Paul or Mike Tyson. Let me think. I do like boxing. I do like fighting, like MMA and boxing and shit. All I know, I haven't really followed Jake's boxing career at this point, but I'm gonna guess that even though Mike Tyson is old as shit, he probably just still has that fucking predator in him that is going to knock the shit out of Jake Paul. Because Mike Tyson would absolutely murder me. I mean, so would Jake Paul, but I also think the real answer is both of them, because both of them are getting a crazy bag for that, and that is probably the main reason that they're doing it. Not probably, is the main reason that they're doing it, is money. So, yeah, maybe the real answer is that they both win. Let's see. Oh, I was also going to I need to make a new daily note. Boop. So what I'm going to do on stream is just take a bunch of notes all right here, and then either at the end of stream or off of stream, we'll go through and like actually organize all of the notes. But Megalore sounds like a Pokemon. I came back after dinner and you haven't started yet. Absolutely nothing's changing. What are you talking about? Exactly. That's a route for the asteroid fight to me. I headbanged to 04 Tuna and seriously need to invest my time in neck stretches. I feel that. I went to the chiropractor for the first time in my life because Paige has been going, and it's really helped her. And it made me feel a lot fucking better. Like, it was so much easier to hold like good posture after going to them. It's a little pricey for me right now. But once I have more money, I will absolutely be going back to the chiropractor. It was nice. So this is the current graph. This is the current like theory web, which is a little bit like impossible to read. So you might say, well, what the fuck's the point of this? What's the use? Well, the use is over on the left, which you can't see. I have, and actually what might be nice is if I put this like over here. There we go. So I have all my stuff, right? I have all my stuff over here. And in this folder, I have my theories. So I have like everything else is like kind of like events. It's, not theorizing. Then I have all the theories in here. So if I go, for example, to ziggurats of power, I have this, and part of this is I have a local graph. So I can see everything potentially connected to ziggurats of power. And I can even, if I go to, is it forces? No, groups, filters. I can actually bump the depth on this. So right now it's at 1 depth. I can bump this out to 2 depth, which makes it a lot more, makes it just a lot more, but might give me some examples or some things based on the theory that I might not have seen otherwise. Like ziggurats of power only being 1 away from the cult of Vecna, only being 1 away from Rhymefang, only being 1 away from Grayskull. So like this right here, like connecting ziggurats of power to Grayskull, legitimately while I was making this, I was like, holy fuck, is there a chance that Raskel made Grayskull one of the ziggurats? Like, are we going to discover in like 30 episodes that Grayskull Keep is actually a ziggurat, and like the dragons are going to use it to do some shit? So that's an example of why I think the theories and the graphs especially are going to be interesting. And before we start, I will go through all my current theories, all the current theories. Number 1. These are all my Chroma Conclave theories. Actually, I'll go through the non-Chroma Conclaves. First, ziggurats of power. I don't know exactly what the deal is yet. But Yugg-Varil, there was a structure that the Elder Brain was housed in, vaguely ziggurat-shaped. The basement of the Slayer's Take, the Sphinx that they met, I don't remember the Sphinx's name. If anyone could provide that in chat, that'd be nice. Was housed in a ziggurat. Underneath Whitestone, it was a ziggurat. It was being restored by House Briarwood, and Raskel Daxio restored, quote unquote, implying that it was pre-existing. So that is currently my ziggurats of power. Osissa? That sounds right. Yeah, Osissa. That they met. Osissa. And I actually need to make probably a thing for her. Osissa. Chiropractors are not great. The sudden violent adjusting can cause serious damage to the joints. I have done some amount of research into this, especially because I have distinct back and bone issues, and I was worried about it. There have been instances of chiropractors just fucking killing people because of like the neck adjustments and shit. My main area of focus was my lower back, and there have been not a significant number of issues with chiropractors and patients' lower backs. So that was why I was comfortable with it. But osteopath's massage until it goes back into place on its own, usually the better choice. But yeah, potentially. Yeah, it could certainly be the better choice for some people. I am also not an expert. I just did research until I was comfortable going. Osissa. My colleague from work got paralyzed for a year from a lower back adjustment. Really? That's intense. Yeah. I don't know. I cannot speak for anything other than what I researched and what I experienced. But so that was Ziggurats of Power. Then we have Trapped Genie. I'm not so certain about the trapped genie theory anymore, but the green skull houses a genie, perhaps one of evil persuasion, and it did offer Grog a wish, and Grog claims that it wanted to talk to the dark-touched individuals on VM, specifically Percy. Allura's information puts a bit of skepticism on this theory, given that she references the interior creature just being a powerful Githyanki, but it's still, possible. Orthax's cursed weapons. This is one that is very much still in play that I had totally forgotten about until I actually started putting it into practice. I originally thought that Smokey was looking to take some manner of revenge on House Briarwood or the Briarwoods individually for some sort of reason. After the events at Whitestone, though, it seems like his intentions were more random or primal. So my theory now is that the list was some sort of vessel for Smokey, and it only held a piece of him. The more lives that the list takes, the stronger and more sentient that piece within it becomes. So, I think that Craven Edge contains another piece of Smokey, as it seems to be having a similar effect on Grog as the list had on Percy, and they also have the same particle effects with the smoke. And I think that the reason that Craven Edge seems more sentient and possibly powerful is because more lives have been taken by it throughout its existence. So that's my theory on Orthax's cursed weapons. Also, fucking Eskel. Eskel is sus as hell. Realm Seer Eskel Rindarian has a lot of suspicious shit surrounding him. Dresvina, this is from Story of Vox Machina. Also Eskel fucking Rindarian is from Story of Vox Machina. Dresvina's bosses wanted a brass box stolen from Eskel. We never find out what was in it. Eskel had VM retrieve the skull of a nightmare and the heart of a nymph to heal Grog's affliction. The latter, totally reasonable. Heart of a nymph makes sense. But the former, the skull of a nightmare, to me, sounds suspiciously like the green-eyed jewel skull. Connection? Eskel was also implicated during the Winter's Crest in Westrun, but VM insisted that he was innocent. We do not have a ton of information about why Vox Machina was so convinced that Eskel was innocent, other than that he healed Grog. Which, to be fair, I mean, that's a trust-building exercise if I've ever heard of one. But I'm throwing major amounts of suspicion on Eskel. The brass box clearly contains his vintage Playboys, obviously. And then we have all the Chroma Conclave theories. Lots of Chroma Conclave theories. So, Chroma Conclave's behind it all. Winter's Crest in Westrun was an incident that involved breaking down the barriers between the planes. Maybe a test to get Thordak out. On the next Winter's Crest, House Briarwood claimed it was too early and referenced breaking the world. There is/was a ton of Vecna imagery, but I still theorize that Umbrasyl was involved somehow. Maybe gave them the original rituals as, again, another test towards breaking down the planar barriers. Then, and this was an interesting thing, didn't Story of Vox Machina say they proved his innocence? I think it said that they, testified on his behalf. I don't know if they proved his innocence necessarily. But Brimscythe, aka Krieg, was very interested in the Infernal issues. I thought he was more directly involved, but upon rewatch of Story of Vox Machina, it actually doesn't seem that he was involved. He thwarted the attempt on Uriel's life and then was just really interested in the clasp when Vox Machina came to him talking about the clasp's involvement. So it seems like he was very interested in getting the infernal presences into our world, but he wasn't actually directly involved. Again, potentially as a test and or preparation for freeing Thordak. So that is one thing. We haven't started. Yeah, no. That's my boy. I will not stand for Eskel slander. You're getting it. You're absolutely getting it. What similarities do you see between the skull of a nightmare and the green gem skull? So Githyanki are sometimes slandered more than others. And in Matt's lore so far, they are getting hard slandered. It is like, yeah, Githyanki are all evil dickheads. Allura is like, I would not throw that shit as far as I could touch it. So within the context of how Githyanki have been portrayed, I think it is not that far of a stretch to say that they might be known as nightmares or whatever, like big old boogeymen. So I think that there's a very decent chance that the skull of a nightmare could be like the skull of a Githyanki. So next is the Chroma Conclave objects. This is a little bit shaky. It seems that the objects found in Brimscythe's house could be linked to one of the Chroma Conclave each. Vorugal is the dominoes, Thordak is the tea set, Rayshawn is the green-eyed skull, black is the bust of Jamansa Ord, and blue is nothing because it's Krieg's house. Potentially Grog interacting with the green jewel-eyed skull is what led the Chroma Conclave to Iman in the first place. Now this could still be the case. Even with the information provided by Allura regarding the green jewel-eyed skull, the Githyanki could be related to the Chroma Conclave. Although this one's on shaky grounds. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this one. Nightmares, I think, are a specific monster horse. Oh, Nightmare? From fucking Oblivion. You're the Dark Brotherhood steed, Nightmare. Hell yeah. One dragon per continent. This is another shaky one. Of Tal'Dore's blue, Wildmount green, Marquette black, Othanzia white, and Draconia red. The only blue dragons we are aware of so far were in Tal'Dore. Brimscythe. According to the Umbracill's human persona theory, that would connect black to Marquette, which we'll get to the Umbracill's humanoid persona. Actually, we'll go over that now. So, to put all this together, I think that Umbracill is Jamansa Ord. It is primarily based off of the Chroma Conclave objects theory, which is a little shaky, so there's a bit of a fallout here. With Jamansa Ord's bust being conspicuously located and seemingly related to Brimscythe, that connection is still very odd, no matter how you shake it out. So I think that Jamansa Ord is still related. I feel okay about this theory. There's also Jamansa Ord's ability to obscure their features. I'm not sure how this relates to black dragons specifically, but it does feel very black dragon shadow powers, you know? So, Umbracill is Jaman, which means that black dragons would be from Marquette. There's also an existing white dragon that we've run into, which is Rhymefang. And Vorugal is confirmed to have been from Othanzia. They said he wandered the waste north of Othanzia. The only white dragon we've run into otherwise was delivered to where it hatched during Winter's Crest and Whiterun. That was Skysunder. So Skysunder, the only white dragon that we've seen outside of Othanzia, was like delivered there. It wasn't natural. And then the other two is a total guess. Other two is a total guess that Wildmount is green and Draconia is red. Total shot in the dark. Rayshawn. Rayshawn's humanoid persona. I quickly picked up on Rayshawn's name. I really do think it's important. Most dragons have names that relate to their color element, for example, Umbracill, the black dragon. Rayshawn's doesn't seem to follow this general pattern unless it does. I'm looking out for possibilities on what the heck Rai could mean in that context. There's also the distinct aspect that, despite walking to the event with Vox Machina, Gilmore was conspicuously missing from the event itself, and Rayshawn wasn't actually seen approaching the city at all, and then was suddenly there. We saw the black and red dragons in the sky. We didn't see the green dragon. There's also the aspect that is sort of the joke, but also it is Sean Gilmore Rayshawn. A little bit of a joke, but also a little bit not. Next one. This is one that I that is Shadowmere. You're totally right, Valkyrie. I was completely wrong. Nightmares is absolutely just a D&D thing. It is totally Shadowmere. And he's also in Skyrim as well. Anyways, Raishon. Exactly, Ink Charm. So now, Thunderbrand is a mole. Drake Thunderbrand is the biggest I am a fucking dragon I've heard since fucking Draco Malfoy. Like, come on, dude. When Drake and Allura Vysoren party tried to defeat Thordek, they weren't successful, but it wasn't explicitly stated why. It was just that they were overcome. Little suspicious. We don't know what Thunderbrand has been up to in the meantime since then. They had never heard of this dude, you know. He's just been hanging around. And it seems like he might be in the Chroma Conclave's mole on the Arcana Panisophical. How else did Thordak get released? Allura seems confident that there's no way he could have escaped the elemental plane of fire. So to me, if it's like we had the perfect security system, to me that just reeks of an insider. That just reeks it like someone that sabotaged the original ritual, or someone that knows the construction of the ritual that could potentially subvert it later. Just absolutely reeks of insider to me. And then Vorugal's humanoid persona. The possible identities of Vorugal. Vor/Voru mean past tense indicator in a lot of language. Gal is girl. Allura. I'm not... And I should note, I'm not as into this one anymore. I think even if she... I don't think she would have showed up and acted like she did if she were Vorugal. So I'm maybe going to put like an X after this. I don't know about that one. Eskel on the pansophical, pronounced like pansexual. Oh, pansophical, not panisophical. Let me do factions. Let's rename that really quick before I forget. Where's the rename? There it is. Pansophical. Nope, I just did panophical. That's not it at all. No. All right, pansophical. There we go. All right, updated a bunch of links. Eskel, on the other hand, was implicated in the delivery of the blue crystal that gave birth to Sky Sunder. Vox Machina eventually defended his innocence, instead implicating the clasp, but nothing was ever resolved there. They never fucking confronted the clasp about this, ostensibly. And the clasp were like clearly not working with Krieg, it seems like, because Krieg was like interested in their infernal activities, and they just like murdered Modeth, part of the clasp. Wait, let me go there. Like, Vox Machina just killed Modeth, which was like one of their leaders, and stole the soul jars containing the souls of Uriel Taldore's family. Like, they totally thwarted all of their shit in regards to the clasp with the infernal stuff, but they never like actually fucking confronted them about the fucking blue crystal. So fucking crazy. Panwafflesley's a been So could also just be the nighttime monster. So I am thinking, if you had to ask me right now, if you told me Vorugal is someone that like we know the name of, like Vorugal's humanoid persona, we know the name of already, I'm putting my money on Eskel Reindarian. That is my bet. So those are currently all of the theories. Those are currently the floating theories out there. So with that, how much money, Mega? I don't bet money. I bet physical pain. Let's get specific here. Let's talk subs. No shot. I don't have enough money to bet subs yet. but maybe later. Maybe in future. All right, let's get into it. So timestamps. An absent player announcement.
These things. Wait.
Absent player.
Welcome to the show tonight. Sam Riegel's on his way. Our Scanlan will be here shortly. Such is the nature of these things. But anyway, welcome to our show, friends new and old. Tonight we're continuing a rather intense beginning of the next arc of Critical Role, as Laura prepares her dice via bulk rolling. I like the juju aspect of it. It's nice. It kind of just gets the energy going. Just burn all those 20s out first.
No, I've already rolled 2.
See? There you go.
Those are 2 you cannot use.
I know.
So tonight we have special guests who'll be coming into the show a little later on as part of the story arc. And after tonight, we'll be having Christmas for this month. It won't be all of us. Some folks have a really early morning tomorrow. Unfortunately, have to run off due to just needing to exist tomorrow professionally. But we'll be doing that this evening.
Professionally. That is definitely, I think that might be one of the most like undercover specific things that will probably like continue to happen, is they will just be able to invest more and more and more into Critical Role rather than like other aspects of, job. So that's like a stealth thing. Face purple crying. Oh no, I need to put... Man, it's so hard to see the Slobs chat box. I wish that I could do a little background on it, but it's not going to let me. Yeah, it like I tell Slobs chat to do a background, and it's just like, but what if we didn't? That'd be kind of cool, right? That'd be kind of based. Oh, Ashley's here. I'm all right now. It does. I will say again, I didn't want to be, I don't know exactly, how much they have in terms of, like production value or whatever, but it does definitely seem like at this point, like Ashley is becoming more and more consistently here. Like, you really haven't figured out how to put her on the screen a little bit better. I don't know, man. It feels like, yeah, like I said, I don't want to be like too mean about it, but it really feels like they should have figured this out by now. There was some interesting dropping there. Oh no, on my end? Shit. Well, anyways.
Yes.
We are going to the recap.
So, to get us up to speed, Vox Machina, the intrepid band of adventurers who have been enjoying being honorary members of the Council of Taldore, returning from a harsh adventure in Whitestone, having the Winter's Crest Festival, and then going in and re-inspecting the death place of a blue dragon they once fought over a year ago. Returned just in time for a series of chromatic dragons, white, black, red, and green, all attacking Iman at once. This union, pardon me.
Quick little reminder in the recap of the fact that there was no blue.
Extremely powerful dragons just tore through the city, with the red staying behind, named Thordak, the Cinder King, basically housing himself in Iman and claiming himself.
And let's just confirm, that starts...
essentially ruler of that area. And the party fled to their keep, attempted to help a bunch of refugees inside, and then were immediately attacked by Vorgal, the White Dragon. A heavy battle commenced. That was ill in favor of your victory until Vordak himself knocked Vorgal out of the sky, claiming that there was better things to be done. So 3 of the 4 of this Chroma Conclave have now gone east, while Vordak sits in the middle of his new nesting place. You guys decided to try and help those who were in the keep at the time, those who survived that encounter on the outside of Greyskull. However, Percy and Grog had a conversation about this magical skull artifact they had acquired, this new whispering, in exchange for a wish if it got freedom. This led to a rather intense bit of conflict.
Discussion.
Yes.
We are not yelling.
Oh, wait, one moment. Oh, wait, no, that's not what I wanted. Where is that? Okay, never mind. Ignore me.
Which,
Talking loudly.
thanks to the luck of the die, seemed to avoid a unique circumstance, whatever that might have been.
Bullshit.
However, the party in this tense scenario were then visited by a dwarven elementalist named Drake, along with your old-time friend and guide, Allura Vysorin.
A specified dwarven elementalist. Wait. Drake. An elementalist named Drake. Wait. Is it Drake? It's Thunderbrand. House Thunderbrand is from Craghammer, right? Wait, Drake is Drake. I mean, it is specifically, yeah. Okay, Drake Thunderbrand. Potentially. I mean, you know, there can be multiple people with the same last names. Yeah. He threw spells at their house, and then they went and talked to them. These were the people. House Thunderbrand was the people that they went and talked to about re-enchanting their magic carpet. Yeah. Potentially linked / related to House Thunderbrand from Craghammer. Interesting. Okay.
Drake, along with your old-time friend and guide, Allura Vysorin, who had sensed the connection to her teleportation circles here in Iman, severed immediately. There was discussion about how this came about, who is to blame, and it appears that this dragon has a history 15 years before of having conflict with Allura and her then party of adventurers, many who lost their life at a final battle when they realized they were unable to actually defeat Thordak, hatched a plan to seal him within the elemental plane of fire, and has managed to keep him there for 15 years until recently. And we left off with Allura suddenly sensing her connection to the Western sigil severed as well.
God, I forgot about that.
And that...
Nothing like genocide to put you in the mood.
Yeah, that is where we'll pick up.
What do?
So, at this point, after Allura senses this, her eyes go wide for a moment, and she kind of...
And I mean, this is... Wait, I need to be using this. Wait.
You...
This is like the Westrun. So she's feeling Westrun before Whitestone, right? Because I'm thinking about this, like I think Rayshawn and Umbrasil got sent off in that direction, so that makes sense.
You being there in front of her still, Keyleth, after your guys scrying, which kind of grabs your shoulder and looks around the room. Who is left?
Timer lives.
There's the council. Which allies can we draw to us in hopes of planning our next move?
We don't know.
We are scattered.
For all we know, the council is lost. It could be all that's left.
Well, we have to try and gather what information we can about who remains. If anyone out there survives, any of our allies, we need to make sure that they're brought away from the center of this chaos. And hopefully we can reconvene and figure out a path of hoping to free our city of this, our entire land of this scourge.
How do we even make contact with him? Thordak is in the center of town.
Perhaps skirting the center and hoping others have found their way towards the outskirts of it. I don't know. This is as far as I've gotten into the city as your guys keep. You have the better position on this. Where would anyone in the town go? Are there places to hide? Are there...
I think that they would leave the center of the city and move at least to the edges, if not try to get out. Though that might be foolish.
Check the harbor, maybe?
We know that Riskel made secret passageways in different places.
Oh, security tunnels.
Yeah. Did we ever find out if we put one in ours? Did we have one that leads into the town?
We don't know.
We don't know, but I can find
Let's
it.
try.
Didn't we have a tunnel made that goes under the wall?
I think
Yes.
I think we do.
did actually.
Yeah.
But doesn't lead out of the city.
You haven't actually utilized...
Look at that little grin on Matt's face. Look at this little guy.
it yet.
Now we've
No.
We don't know.
Wait.
Let's try.
Look at this. Sam remembers something, and look at this guy.
Didn't we have a tunnel made that goes under the wall?
I think
Yes.
I think we do.
Did actually.
Look at trying to hold back a grin. He's like, fuck yeah, they remembered. Let's go. Like very clearly something that Matt remembered. And he's like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, they remembered it. I love it.
But doesn't lead out of the city.
You haven't actually utilized it yet.
Now we've never used it, but they described it to us when they brought us here.
Maybe we
First
can
day.
sneak in.
To the city.
Well, yeah.
We need to
And
see
go
if Uriel
where?
is still alive.
By the way, hi guys.
Hi, how's it going?
Wait, who was with Gilmore?
Gilmore disappeared. I didn't see where he went.
He was alone before it all happened.
That's another place to check.
Yes.
What? Where? Gilmore's?
Gilmore's?
If I'm thinking of where I would
Looks
go
good.
if I didn't know what to do.
That's smart.
What places are left that have a teleportation circle?
What about the Thieves Guild tunnels? Would anyone go there?
Yeah, it depends on who knows. It's a way out of the city once
The
again.
Smuggler's Coves? Oh.
It's not a bad idea either.
That was all through the
That bar
through the bar in the
place
in the
with the thing.
crappy little town.
That one.
The connections I had this time were within my tower, your keep, and the Lyceum, the Alabaster Lyceum. The Lyceum has also been severed, though I know not what may remain there. That is also a place of great power, hence why it was probably a very operative target for their attack.
Alora,
Yes.
how far does your arcane connection reach? Can you feel when you lose connection to others?
I mean, something interesting about this, right? Oh, hi. Oh, you want to talk about what's interesting? Do you have do you have your theories that you want to tell chat? She is 66 pounds. She's like 10 pounds heavier than Bug now. No, do not bite the mic. No. Hi. Yes. Oh. Okay. This is why I need to take off my headphones. This is why I asked the guy at Micro Center about wireless earbuds that also can still monitor, because I have this dog. Yeah, okay. She has taken over. I have nothing that I can do. There's no, yep, hi, okay. I need to take out my headphones. Dougie, I was trying to say something. Okay, do you just wanna, alright. Well, we'll at least have a good idea of how much time she's taking up. Doug. Yeah. Hi. Yeah, hi, Bird. Okay. Has the dynamic changed between them yet? A bit. They're more of like collaborators now. The other day, Bug took the fall for Bird. Bird definitely snuck a rock into the house so that they could play with it. And when I came into the living room, they both looked at me mega guilty. And then Bug ran over and grabbed something off the floor, and it turned out to be the rock. She took the fall for her sister. And now they'll ring the bells. Like if one of them rings the bells and we say later, the other will ring the bells even if they don't need to go. They're freaking collaborators, dude. All right, girl. I'm working. Come on. There we go. She has a little pedestal next to me so that she can get up. Ancient black doggy. Smell the puppy breath. Is that taking the fall or snitching? Oh, it's absolutely taking the fall. She'd already figured it out. But anyways, what the fuck was I talking about? I do not remember what I was on about. It was something about Allura. How far does your arcane connection reach? Also, place of great power. Oh, okay. What I was going to say is it's interesting that it does seem like my current in fiction read of why White Dragon Vorugal went to keep him on, not to keep him on, fucking keep Grayskull, is because it is a place of like power. It's like where people would congregate. And you could say that he just saw the people congregating there, but to me it seems a little bit more intentional. Like maybe Vorugal's, position here was to go and like grab all of the powerful places like Allura's Tower and apparently the Lyceum. So I think that was kind of Vorugal's place, but that does also imply that they have knowledge of the places of power in Amon. And it could just be that Brimscythe told them about all of that. Could be. before he died. But it feels a little bit suspicious. Like, it feels like they very clearly, like Brimscythe and, or not Brimscythe, like the current Chroma Conclave very much knew where to attack. That is kind of the vibes that I'm acquiring from this. Oh no, wait. It's just barely not on screen. Oh no, I need to move this over a skosh. So it is a little interesting. Sort of goes towards a potential Thunderbrand mole sort of deal. And in fact, you know what? Just towards more of the Thunderbrand mole comment, I believe Craghammer is in the same mountain range as Brim's hideout. Now again, there's a lot of things in that mountain range. It's just a point of evidence. It's just a point of evidence. You know? Nothing crazy, but it's worth considering.
Does your arcane connection reach? Can you feel when you lose connection to other cities?
If I have a connection to the sigil, yes. I don't have much beyond the boundaries of Taldore. Vasselheim does not allow sigils for transportation. It's against their philosophy against embedded arcane intrusion. If Westruun is under attack as well, I will make my way there in hopes of salvaging the lives that...
Okay. I know we just started, but we're kind of done with the the recap portion of stream. Classic. So I think it's about 2 hours in. It might be good for us to run a quick ad, and take a quick break, bio break, bathroom break, get food, get water, and then settle in for the rest of CR. I think that's smart. So I'm going to run an ad on Twitch real quick, and we will be right back. Oh, and I need to get the fucking music playing. Because I don't currently have that. You know what? You get to listen to my silky smooth tones real fast while I pull up Streamlabs fantasy music, and there we go. And now we'll go back to the editor, make sure it's loud enough to hear, and I'll be right back. What up? Would it be a spoiler to suggest generally ask Discord? Okay. So this is an interesting kind of line cut on spoilers of like, I get what you're going for, Bad Wolf Bow. And I also get the Theshel and Valkyrie response. Yeah, so that's the anything specific. And I also do think that you did a good job like keeping info out of the query. But yeah, that's one where it's like the specificity is a spoiler chat question. But if you were just like, yo, like, is it a spoiler to ask for you to watch certain time codes in a video? I think that's the sort of like type question that I would actually prefer to happen in chat. And so to answer that one about time codes, no, I honestly don't think that asking me to watch a particular time code is a spoiler. I will say, 42350 is actually included in the time codes that John gave for this episode. So yeah, I will definitely be watching that one. All right. And I think with that, we're back.
I can.
But you're leaving?
If Westruun is under attack now, and we know Thordak is here, does that mean
His forces are divided.
This is a takeover.
yes?
For
but
some reason, Thordak doesn't want to leave this city. Why?
This is the seat of power, right?
we could potentially attack one of his subordinates, though, one of the other dragons in Westruun, by themselves.
But then he could just come and kill us.
Well, then we teleport right back out.
Okay.
Bad idea? Bad idea?
How fast is he?
Well, they just made it to Westruun, several 100 miles away in all of 40 minutes.
There's a lot of assumptions here.
They move rather fast, and to be honest, I hate to inform you, but my single teleportation ability has been utilized.
Chat Noir, are you live? Because I agree. And I put a background behind it. Are you saying that about current chat right now? Or about chat before I put the background on it? Because I can make the background darker, but just to confirm.
For the day in getting here.
Oh, yeah. I'm tapped out too.
Me too.
Lady Allura, what do you know of Marquette?
Marquette?
You said that they successfully repulsed him.
400 years ago, yes, when he was younger. He was a much smaller dragon then.
Yeah, he's ancient, Grog. He is ancient.
Yes, like
The only thing I can think of, there are two bastions of knowledge that hold inklings as to what could be the undoing of dragonkind, of powerful entities. There were battles of many such powerful entities long, long ago, back before the penance, before the historical wiping of civilization. Some of these books remain in Vasselheim, being the only city to have survived those times. A few have found their way in the Cobalt Reserve, the library in Westruun. If I could go and hope that this library still stands.
Before the penance, before the historical wiping of civilization. Is that the same thing? Is this the way that that's phrased, those could either be two different things or the same thing.
Back
Let's see.
before the penance, before the historical wiping of civilization.
I am assuming that they're the same thing.
Some of these books remain in Vasselheim, being the only city to have survived those times. A few have found their way in the Cobalt Reserve, the library in Westruun.
Sweet, sounds good, chat. Noir.
If I could go and hope that this library still stands, stay out of sight, help who I can along the way, and gather what bits of research I can and bring them back here, perhaps. We could reconvene as long as you go and find who you can of our allies that survive, with Nimon.
We can do that.
with anyone.
Wait,
Yes.
we're gonna let you go on your own?
Well, she has Drake With her?
Which Drake next to her says, "Damn right she does.
Oh.
And I don't mean any offence, but 2 of us is about the same as you lot.
Say what?
Trust me." And he gives you kind of this dwarven grin as though his eyes kind of spark for a second with electricity. And she kind of pushes him aside and goes, "It's all right, Drake. For our mission, it's going to require more, Success is guided on being subtle. Some of you excel at that, maybe not all. And speed. I believe we can handle this. You're better suited in combing large bits of territory and
Shit, I forgot to stop the timer.
seeking the allies that may survive.
Would you be leaving in the morning then? Or can you go tonight?
I shall leave now.
You're gonna go on foot?
We have other means of transportation.
Alora, if you're going to Western, and if what you say is true, that we have 2 potential options for finding out how to defeat these dragons, should we be heading to Vasselheim? Maybe that's best where we're needed right now.
If Vasselheim still stands, knowing its history, that is one of the most fortified cities. No, the most fortified city in our civilization. It's endured 2 great wars, and has been the starting point of each cycle. I doubt, even at the might that these dragons hold, they would have the gall or the foolish intent to attack such a place. Especially the center of an entity such as Bahamut, who stands against such creatures. I think Vasselheim is going to definitely claim a key role in this attempt to save ourselves.
Bahamut is a good guy.
Yeah, for the most, yeah.
Cool.
It's the city that was closest to Pyro.
Yes.
My people, my tribe.
Oh, sorry.
We could pull double duty. We could go, and I can... Grog, not now, it's not the time!
What of Whitestone? Was there any mention, any...
It's funny.
I have no connection to Whitestone. I did not have time arriving there to install a sigil.
Did you learn anything of the anomaly beneath the castle that might be useful?
And she kind of, she shakes herself from the current mindset and goes, well,
Why is this started again? Oh, dude. No wonder. I forgot. I fucking set this to comma and period. I was like, why is it going again? That's why.
me and Drake here, we spent the better part of 2 days studying the structure underneath the city. It itself appears to be at least 600 years old, predating Whitestone's construction. Unfortunately, both of our magics are thwarted in the proximity of this structure.
Right.
And any sort of rituals that we attempted or would have been able to attempt to discern its nature in the classic means would not be functional due to its anti-magical properties. However, taking a few things of note, and we're taking our observations to research facilities around the world, one of which I intended to be the Cobalt Reserve, before this happened.
Interesting, thank you.
So there was no, you didn't move it, you didn't do anything with it, it's still just sitting there.
It's like
Oh,
a
no.
hazard zone right now.
Essentially, we've locked it off, and it's under intense guard. We spent a little bit of time experimenting with its properties, and any sort of object of firm matter that was introduced to this object was then torn from our grasp, sundered into many pieces, and then vanished.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get Thordak near the little orb.
Yeah,
I like it.
for sure.
Which was definitely what I was thinking.
How do we do that?
Well, it's part of the plan.
Hey, big dragon, there's a snack over here. Take a bite.
We could leave a trail of gold that leads to it, Goldilocks style, or Goldilocks?
That thing was also several 100 feet below ground. How are we gonna get that dragon down there?
Does Thordak have any offspring?
Not that I know of.
Not anymore.
I thought that the thought would be to actually remove it from the chamber and maybe make it portable.
That could be really, really terrible.
Do
person.
dragons have families? They have, like, wives or loved ones?
They have
They
children.
have children?
Chromatics, especially, they, from what I understand in my research, they do mate, but there is no family structure and there is no love between brethren other than the continued existence of that bloodline. If a child of a dragon is slaughtered and one does find out, depending if it's their only brethren, that could incite a sense of vengeance depending on the color. But I know of no immediate children to Thordak. I have no knowledge of the other dragons of which have attacked this day.
We should ask him.
We need to do as much research as we can.
I've not seen Thordak myself in 15 years, and I know not the state in which he's in or what power he's now gained. I mean, whatever information you can gather safely right now is going to guide us and the rest of his path in attempting to take this terrible creature down.
If we go back into the city to try to find council members, and we succeed, what does that get us? A bunch of
Brings
people who
them
also
here.
don't know how to defeat the dragons.
Right, but they're powerful people. They could help us.
Politically?
Both.
Experience and warrior-wise.
Learned.
What about a spy? Dragons want servitude, right?
They, especially the Reds, see themselves as superior to all beings and will bend, and have in the past bent, small townships and civilizations to their whims and worship, yes. Which is, based on what you're telling me, is part of what Fordak is attempting with this city now.
So what if we set a shady
I linked it to page up and page down, which page down is clearly not the way to go with that. Grog asking the real questions. I mean, yeah, I like. This is like a very. I don't want to say like lore dumpy, but you know, we're just kind of coming up with the plans of actions, and I think that they're all making good points. This is 1.25. Yeah. Yes. You could do plus and minus. Can I do plus and minus? Let's see.
piece of shit to go bend the knee?
The only reason I can't do minus is because I do occasionally use hyphens when writing in this. So I can't do plus and minus. I might be able to do... I'm looking for things that really, really would not would not apply. And it's like, it's actually very few things. Maybe like right shift. Right shift might be the one. Those, I use curly braces all over the place. At least when I'm coding. And I want to make this like something that will be able to be used no matter what. Oh, maybe tilde and grave. I actually think that'll work. So tilde and then grave is tilde shift. Okay. What up? What up, everyone? So yeah, I'll do tilde and like right shift key. I think that'll be fine, honestly. Okay. But yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about other than that it's just a lot of lore dump. I'm trying to make sure I get the important bits.
And work on the inside.
Listen, Jared is good, but I don't want to sacrifice him like that.
What about you, Scanlan?
Oh,
You're so good at lying and
Let's
being
talk about
shady,
you.
sucking up and groveling.
What about Trinket?
Trinket can't talk.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
And I do have this, pulling the brooch off. This would mask your true nature somewhat.
Oh, that's true.
I am not going to go.
Ancient giant red fuck off dragon.
They
I don't
have
see that we
mind
have a
control
choice.
powers.
You'll be
They
his
have
papa.
influence. They have
true.
charisma
You'll be his
beyond
page.
even mine.
You'll be his bitch. You'll trim his toenails. You'll get real buddy
Like,
buddy.
The size of his
Slave Leia
toenails.
outfit with a chain around your
No, he's
neck.
the
Little guy
sausages.
next to
Oh
Jack.
yeah, you see the little guy.
You might be surprised. You might like it.
I mean, like what? Dragons have to eat, right? Do dragons eat?
Dragons
They
eat.
eat quite a bit.
Yeah, so you poison like a cow, and then you're like, oh Lord Theradoxin.
Okay, so the pause or the play works, but the pause does not work. Well, we're making progress.
There you go. Poison cow. You're dead. Hero of the city.
Something tells me I would end up his gimp.
You dimension door. You're super quick.
Okay.
This is a no-brainer.
All right, that's the best plan ever.
Let's just think about it, all right?
We need to
Save
find
all the
We just
Uriel.
did.
We need to go in. All these are the next step. We need to see. We have sacrificed a lot to save Uriel before. We're not just going to leave him in the city. We need to find the tunnel under this keep, go in there, see who's left.
They're feeling a lot more silly. This feels to me more like, traditional sort of grog, right? This feels much more like real grog, and I think it's a little bit of a not necessarily like coming up for air, but it's a lot of like, man, we have been under so much stress and strain that we kind of gotta get it out a little bit, gotta be a little silly. Yeah.
And get them out.
Speaking.
And the hotkeys are working now. There we go, right on time. Scanlan as a bard obviously needs to seduce Thordak and convince him to be his new lover to forget his plans for rule. Yeah. It's always a lover. It's always a lover that takes down the tyrant. That's famously how these things normally go. Scanlan certainly does have an effect. That is very fair.
Of spies.
Do you have a number pad? I don't have a number pad. I have a 67% keyboard. I don't know if you can see it. So I mean, I could theoretically use those things, but they're harder to map because I can't like actually press the button to map them. So I would have to figure that out off stream. But I might do that.
Anyone else feel like this is fairly convenient timing? Someone in that council had to have known this was happening.
That's true.
Wouldn't you?
Everyone
All
was
of
gathered in one
Cloudtalk
place.
District was in one place.
It's not a bad point.
That's a very
Someone
fair point.
knew. It was the perfect
Someone.
opportunity to strike. They took out the entire upper echelon of the city in one strike. They waited for them all to be in one place.
General Krieg was here for a while before we discovered him.
He wouldn't
He
have
had
known,
friends.
But he wouldn't have known this was coming, though.
No, but he was one of them.
He actually, she said he had friends.
It's
He
possible, but they might not have been working in conjunction with each other. They could have been on their own, all of them, or together. I don't know.
It does open the door to some definite possibilities.
The timing was perfect. That's
The
all I'm
timing
saying.
was perfect.
You know the best way to flush out something like that? Someone was a spy.
Just keep thinking about it,
I'll
alright?
do
Just
it.
keep thinking about
I'll
it.
just go.
Well, what if we
in-
find a shady individual, like he was saying? What if we
Why don't-
don't send in Scanlan? What if we find someone?
That person will surely die.
He's probably right.
Surely not. Which I'm alright with.
Okay.
We have to. Let's go find this tunnel.
We need to see.
Yeah, let's go play with that
Get
tunnel.
into the city, find some people. Alora, you be safe
I will.
and silent and swift, and you get back here as quickly as possible.
What time is it? When was the last time we actually took a nap?
Oh, it's been quite a while. You guys have been running since before
Yeah, we're
the
exhausted.
meeting in the Cloud Top
Which
District.
happened at nighttime, remember?
Yeah.
And it does.
It's
I.
already morning the next day? No.
No, it's
time
it's
is
like evening now for you guys.
What time approximately? Like after midnight?
I'd say it's like after midnight, 1 a.m.
Oh, fudge.
I
Hot fudge.
Hot fudge.
druid craft a little tulip and hand it to Alora.
She takes it, nods, places
So
it
we
one
need
of
to be
the.
in contact.
Well, if we go now, we have the benefit of darkness in the city.
Heck, we're gonna go now without resting.
I'm not saying that. I'm weighing our options. If we go now,
Is it high noon? Is it what's a non copyright version? Is it large sun? Is it middle of the day? Yeah. It's full sunrise. No, not sunrise. Full sun.
we can go under the cover of night. We're gonna be
Full
exhausted.
daylight.
Dragons don't care about night. They can see perfectly fine.
Yes, we've learned that much.
Well, let's lie down and
Take a nap.
What time? Wait, hang on.
Sleep as little as
The
possible.
only thing darkness will do will
That
make us feel
actually get
better.
us rested.
Short rest or a long rest?
Long rest.
Okay, then.
Long rest is 8 hours.
If we
Time
sleep
in
and get up in the
somewhere
morning and hit it,
You think the brothels are open now?
I mean, it might be like
It'll,
half
it'll at
past
least
nine.
give everybody time to move
Clearance
around.
sale.
that's true.
Clearance sale?
I mean, can I sense Thorodak and figure out, I mean, is he just settling in that one spot? Is there anything else around, or is it just him in the center being a dick and no other kind of movement of other things?
You took a while earlier to kind of concentrate and you kind of focus on that point again. The Thordak is this giant, oppressive force of dragonkin in the center of the city, seemingly not moving.
And last week you said that Vex couldn't sense the other three.
Correct.
They went to hit the other cities, obviously.
I still have one 5th level spell left. I can commune with nature and try and find out if a few people are still left in the city.
Shoot.
Before we go to sleep.
Might as well.
Well,
If we're not going out.
What?
I can commune with
We're
nature
gonna
Oh, yeah.
and try and find certain people.
Should we? Yeah.
I'm Gilmore.
Alright, I go out into Pike and the Serenray Temple.
Okay, so as you go to the temple, you can see the surviving
Oh yeah, we had all those people
25
on
or so people that are all kind of lumped in. They're calmer right now, but you see a lot of them are still just like consoling each other and talking. And as soon as you walk in, like a couple step up and like, "What's going on? Is everything all right? I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry." They start crying. Like, "Shh, it's okay. Is everything all right? Are we safe here? Is this okay?"
You'll be alright. Everyone, calm down. We've had a rough day, and it's been hard on everyone, but you should be safe here for the evening. Hopefully. Everyone,
Do better.
look, I'm trying on this whole leadership thing, okay?
Make a persuasion check.
What up, PKM? Good to have you. Welcome, welcome. This is a big lore drop episode. I'm not, I think that there's like an interesting aspect of Keyleth is sort of, I don't want to say like being taken on as like a mentee by Allura, but there's a certain level of like mentor-mentee mentorship going on. Honestly, G Hercub, absolutely. I think performance is absolutely the way to go right now. It did start off running, didn't it? It really, yeah. There has been no downtime. Menthol. It's never performance. It should be performance more often. I agree. Yeah.
No, that low. Sorry.
Surprisingly,
It's tough.
I rolled a 1. First roll of the night.
Any little bit of hope works.
Yeah, apparently. So, you know, the one man who stood up and the younger child to him kind of looks around and he tells her, shh, go lay down. Very well. Thank you again. We're sorry for.
And again, this is sort of like the Scanlan contested role of like, what is he contesting? Like, what is the failure state here that he just like doesn't believe her, even though she's being genuine. Yeah, contested persuasion is interesting.
Everyone else kind of the room kind of nods in agreement, and you see like there's dirt and tear stain, and they're all just happy to not be on fire right now.
Are there
Or
any
frozen.
injuries in the room that we haven't attended to?
There have been a few injuries. However, Pike has already taken time with Keyleth to see to them when they first
Hey,
arrived.
man,
in the
I was
keep.
helping too, mother.
You were helping until you were pulled away for the 5 minutes.
Good
But yeah.
job, Pike. And you too.
Good job,
Yeah,
Mike.
you know.
Thanks for being productive.
And good job.
Gotta help the group.
Thank you for the follow, PKM. I appreciate it.
All right, so as you guys as you're having this conversation, Allura and Drake walk their way out to the courtyard, and she kind of looks back at the rest of you and goes, "Stay safe. If anything happens, find a way to let me know. I'll return as soon as I can with what I can find, possibly who I can find."
Wait.
Counter with
Secrets.
Oh, now we're doing fucking player to DM whispers. Dude, what a crazy music shift. This sounds like Allura's going to walk out the door and just be fucking plucked from the fucking tile. Oh my god.
Don't forget to visit Gilmore's Glorious Schools.
That's not a real place, Travis. It doesn't exist.
Just hop in and out of character with it.
God, who are you talking to?
Your sword. You're promoting Gilmore's to your sword.
Just go ahead and roll for me.
Okay.
What?
24.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely, Ink Charm. Yeah. It was it might have been Liam. I know that they've I think this isn't even the second reverse whisper. I think it's like the third or fourth at this point. If I had to make a contested check, it would be Keyleth against Thordak's intimidation. I think that is a solid way to think about it, G Hercub. Yeah. I think that would work. I got no disagreements with that. If you did want to make it a contested check, you didn't just want to like come up with a DC in your head, I think that is a totally fair contested check. Yeah.
All right. So as you and Allura embrace,
Also, I'm having trouble with the hotkeys where it's not going to have live split this time. I need to test it more off stream. I'm having trouble progressing in it because I just realized the ones that I set up wouldn't work. So we're just gonna have no timer. How do you explain that Vex doesn't sense him? That Vex doesn't sense him. Oh, like did she do her dragon sense while he's been there? I believe that she did that before he got there. She didn't sense the other 3 dragons either, according to Matt. Yeah. I don't know. I would have to go back and see the exact timing of everything, but I want to say that Drake wasn't even there, or maybe he was. I don't know. It would be interesting. They were out of range. Yeah, the other 3 dragons were out of range. Silas had an anti-sensing amulet. That is also true. Yeah, Silas had a I'm not a vampire amulet. She sensed Thordak like 5 minutes ago while Drake's been there. Yeah, I mean, there's very much a possibility that like while they're in their humanoid forms, they aren't sensed as draconic. He could have a Silas style amulet. I don't know. It could be that Matt is running it to where when they're in their humanoid form, they count as humanoids for that type of sensing. But when they're in their draconic form, they count as dragons. She spotted something in the sky because of passive perception. She sensed something in the sky during episode 39, yeah. What up, Fabulous? Thank you very much. Welcome. In the cartoon, Vex can feel when dragons are around. Oh, yeah, I mean, there's absolutely... It's like a thing that you have to, like, do actively within the raw D&D rules, but she might have sensed dragons since Drake's been around. It is very possible that she just can't sense Drakes. She can do it. Yeah, she has to actively choose to do it. But regardless, she might have actively chosen to do it while Drake's been here. Yeah. I just can't remember if she sensed Thordak while Drake was here. But either way, it is very, very possible that he just either doesn't show up as a dragon or that he has some sort of anti-sensory arcana tech, you know?
She steps back and gives a nod, looks out to everybody.
I reach out and I'm just gonna grab her hand. I say, thank you, truly, for everything.
Don't thank me yet. Most of all of this lies on my shoulders. And you can see, like she is holding it together best she can, but there is a crippling guilt in her just visual presence based on everything that's happening here. And you know that there is a mutual understanding that while no one knows the true reason why all this is happening, everyone seems to have a stake as to why it had happened and possibly may have been somewhat at fault. And as she nods, she looks to Drake, and Drake gives her a nod and begins casting a spell. As his fingers kind of twirl in the air, these blue sparks kind of trail his fingertips as it draws this large kind of spiral of electrical energy that holds itself in place. It bursts out and encompasses both their bodies, and their forms all of a sudden shrink down and shudder into these two kind of sparks of energy that then arc off, and you can see these two bolts of electricity now just coasting through the sky, bouncing off road, bouncing off rock, bouncing off tree. They're both traveling via spark across the country.
How the fuck do we get that ability?
I don't know.
She's so cool. She's so fucking cool. Do you think that was her? Do you think that was Drake?
That was Drake.
I think that was definitely Drake, and also like, so you know he's the elementalist or whatever, but I mean that is a very blue dragon-esque thing. I'm just saying. The electricals, Star Wars, I thought May said, yeah, it's I'm not as worried about Legends spoilers, but I do plan on watching Legends at some point. So generally avoid where possible, but I'm not as concerned about them. Since the other day you said you hadn't noticed much of a difference, that few minutes earlier stream, Matt stated depending on the color, the dragons act differently. I mean, I totally believe that they act differently. I just haven't seen it like bear out that much within the narration. Like, I totally believe that they act differently. I was not like doubting it. It's just that like I don't think the differences have been massively highlighted other than like Thordak is like the domineering leader and everyone else listens to what he says. And then like I said, the only other one that I really noticed was like Umbrasil like prowling on the rooftops, but I don't even really know if that was like a black dragon thing necessarily. Like I just haven't noticed much of a difference in their personalities. But coming from very early streams, am I understanding right now there are new theories in place of Kim Varn? Oh, absolutely. There's a whole layer of new theories. We never stopped theorizing. I have a lot of them are revolving around the Chroma Conclave currently, but then there are some more overarching theories separate that we actually went over at the beginning of stream, actually. But yes, yeah, no, there are absolutely new theories. We have to disagree on that, but I know all the general personalities. Yeah, and if you know the general personalities going into it, maybe it's easier to pick up. But like not knowing the differences, like not knowing what to look for, they're all just kind of acting dragon-esque to me. Like I'm not picking up on any of the nuance if that nuance is there. Kima's still believed to be the BBEG. Yeah. Chat likes to say that we still think that Kima's the BBEG. Yeah. I think when hindsight, it's easier to see the difference. Once you have the pattern, it's easy to make it fit. Yeah, I think I agree. Like I can very much understand how like maybe it is there, but I don't really notice it. There will be differences between dragons just a little later. Yeah, I assume. Yeah. The stream is 1/3 CR watching, 1/3 content rambling, 1/3 conspiracy. Accurate.
Oh man, that's
So cool.
Should we go to sleep?
Well, I'm doing my commune with nature spell. I dropped out.
Oh, yeah.
Meditate.
all right.
Alrighty.
Oh, if only I'd taken a dump in the middle of town, I could see what's going on right now.
Hindsight is 10.
Other
Alright,
number.
Okay, 3 facts of your choice.
There's so many
As
stickers.
you sit in the temple quietly and connect yourself to the land and the foliage of the surrounding area of Iman, what are your questions?
Do I sense Gilmore's presence?
It is... What's the radius in this? 3 miles?
Like a few miles?
You do sense a presence.
A presence.
Very weak presence.
Oh no!
Does that could mean that he's far away or that he's dead?
Can I focus in even harder and find where that presence is coming from more directly?
The direction that best you can ascertain is it's in the direction of Avadar's promenade.
His shop.
That's where his shop is, yeah.
Okay. Last question. Do I sense Uriel?
Within your 3-mile range, you do not.
Well,
Maybe
spell.
he.
you got to move it.
Or he's dead.
With your okay,
Where's
when
the
you
werewolf?
sensing things, does that mean you would sense if they were alive, or you would just sense you wouldn't sense them at all if they were dead?
The questions were, are they in the city? Which direction are they? Those
Okay.
are essentially the answers that you get through the connection to nature.
Okay, so they could be dead in the city and you would still sense them.
That's possible.
That's a good question.
I mean, for a ruler within a like high magic setting, you should absolutely have a fucking like break glass in case of emergency, like piece of arcana tech. You know, like a fucking amulet that you activate and it like transports you off continent. Like if you are a powerful, rich emperor, king, whatever, monarch, you absolutely should have a fucking punch your chest, you're gone emergency button for this sort of situation. So, especially because I don't think we saw or heard like Uriel actually like go down. You know what I'm saying? So I do not take from that Uriel is dead. Totally could be, but I think he's just gone. He's just somewhere else.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Could have gone to the harbor. He could have fled through tunnels that we don't know.
You could have a teleportation circle.
We should check his shop first.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
If
check
Uriel's
the shop.
farther away, it's kind
Definitely look for
Uriel, I don't know.
It's a moot
Maybe he's
point.
dead, maybe he's gone. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of a moot point.
We could show. How about this? Let's find Gilmore. If he's alive or dead, that'll answer a lot of questions. How's that?
That's like a coward's opinion. Move.
I agree.
Yes.
And if he did not make it, we still go to his shop
Take
and
everything.
use whatever's left. So Gilmore will done.
It's true.
I agree.
We go there.
Seconded.
If it hasn't been ransacked already.
Let's go find that magic fucker.
So we're going
Tonight?
out.
They are probably the only sponsored individuals left. They might as well have what's left.
Tonight?
Sleep and then go.
I don't know. Maybe we should.
Or should we stealth in and see what we can see? I don't know. I feel like we need to rest, y'all.
What's that rogue?
How bad are we?
Right?
You don't need to.
I mean, I'm
I
at
should probably rest.
Oh.
I'm at 25.
Oh shit.
yeah, I'm pretty low,
I think
and
we
I'm almost out of
said-
dice.
We've had.
I can
no
stay
good to
guard
anyone.
to the rest of
You're
everybody
right.
else because I'm okay.
They're expecting Thordax is expecting to sit on us like a bunch of eggs in a basket. We're fine for the night. We go tomorrow.
Potentially.
Okay.
All right, you guys take a long rest.
Quick question. Where's the skull?
You fucking. That was my question.
I don't know. What are you talking about?
You look where the skull last.
You expect me to remember those sorts of things?
I think
I remember.
you have it or I have it. I don't remember.
The last person to hold it was Vex.
Vex.
It was Vex. Okay, excellent. I have a perfectly reasonable hiding place, or if you like, you can take it.
Yeah, your ass.
Yes, I think it's reasonably well hidden
Excellent.
at this moment.
Where is it?
I don't
Hidden.
know. Well hidden.
That will do.
All right. You guys find yourselves as best as you can resting for the evening. It is an evening of tossing and turning for a lot of you. Flashes of memories. Scanlan, you're plagued by the thought of your newly discovered daughter being not far outside of the city when all this went down. Percy, you have flashes of the idea of Whitestone just recently saved and brought to freedom, being torn asunder by dragons not 2 weeks afterward. You are plagued by visions of the Pyra, the moment that Thordak must have torn through and the havoc that was wreaked afterward. Both of you can't help but think back to when you first returned to Byroden and seeing the smoldering ruin that you now know to be the work of the Cinder.
You know, this is something kind of interesting of like it's honestly one of the reasons that I feel not more confident, but like it is one of the narrative indicators to me that the Briarwoods are connected to the Chroma Conclave somehow. Maybe just the Briarwoods, maybe the entire Vecna cult, what have you. But it is exactly what Matt says right here. Of you have flashes to the idea of Whitestone recently saved and brought to freedom.
Recently saved and brought to freedom, being torn asunder by dragons.
Being torn asunder by dragons not 2 weeks later. Which is essentially like, hey, you remember that entire previous, arc that we had? Like, there is still, evidence that it happened. Percy is changed. He's not, as it seems, like Smokey doesn't have as much control. Like, there was personal character growth. But everything, materially that you accomplished is kinda gone. Which is, that is an element of how a lot of D&D plot lines progress. As threats and threat levels slowly escalate, you do end up, sometimes essentially undoing aspects of previous arcs, things that the party built get destroyed, like Grayskull. But not normally this quickly, and not normally with so little to show for it. I guess and we don't know. We don't know exactly what's going on. Cassandra could have survived. You could have very distinct material benefits still be hanging around. Archibald could be out there. Cassandra could be out there. These are very distinct allies that you can bring into the Chroma Conclave arc. But you do need something. You do need that. You need Cassandra to be around. You need Archibald to come back up. I mean, the spinning ball of death is basically the only thing materially that will probably survive from that arc, other than, the friends we made along the way. So, all that being said, if you're Matt, I would try to figure out how to work in those friends. It as not a necessarily a priority, but it's one of my middling priorities as a DM is how do I work in Archibald? How do I work in Cassandra? Because otherwise a lot of the impact of that arc is kind of gone. So you got to figure out how to work it back in where you can, you know? Grog got a sword. It is a very cool sword. It is a very, very cool sword. He doesn't know yet. Be careful. Be careful, Fabulous, about what I do or don't know. If it's a specific piece of information, check with spoilers chat to see if I know or not. If you're not sure, like, what episode it comes out.
It's not 2 weeks afterward. You are plagued by visions.
It is a cool sword, though.
The moment that Thordak must have torn through and the havoc that was wreaked afterward. Both of you can't help but think back to when you first...
Do you think that after the Briarwood arc focused so much on saving Whitestone that Matt would allow it to be destroyed off screen? I mean, that is sort of what I'm getting at is... I don't know. It's tough. Or do you think that'd be too much? I mean, that is sort of what I'm going after here, is like, you have to be careful about that as a DM. Like, they have saved Amon several times, but they've also enjoyed the fruits of that. You know, like, they've saved Amon from the Dread Emperor. They've saved Amon from the Infernal Invasion, Brimscythe. They've saved Westrun from the Fetal God. They saved Westrun from the... Any Mega is resetting everything. He said he's restarting everything now. I am indeed. Okay. Are we back? I think we might be. Oh, I really hope that it's like the same like link, that it didn't like end the event. That is what I am most worried about. He's live. He's back. I've been resurrected. We see you. Oh, and fucking Truffle chat is working now. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't Truffle chat be working now? That only makes the most amount of sense. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yep, we're back. Hello. So that was a so what happened was, apparently someone, I told you I got the router that I'm using, I got from my parents, because my stepdad is like, he gets like new product stuff for like a broadband company. And so he's like the one that got me it. But because it's like a test model, it has some weird stuff with it. And like, I guess they didn't like realize that someone was actually using it. And so just like some like VP somewhere just deactivated it, because he was just like, oh yeah, like no one's using this shit. And and so it just fucking like took out my whole internet, and I was like, oh great, we're in the smart things age. Where my internet can just be taken out by some rando in a corporation that just doesn't know what's going on. Like, literally. Oh my god, that was... so glad to think I'm back from the dead. See, this is why teaching Sand to think was a mistake. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. But we're back. I don't remember at all of what we were talking about, but... I think it was in reference to Whitestone getting taken out But I don't remember my train of thought. You should have seen me. I was just like head in my hands, like this cannot be happening again, dude. Silly. Some people trying couldn't enter their apartments when humidity hit 100 because the electronic fingerprint locks on their door were so wet. Yeah, honestly. Technology was a mistake. We should just go back. Good to back this up a bit since it's a nice dramatic section and it has been paused between it for a bit. Yeah, let's do it.
Return for the evening.
Reasonably well hidden.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well hidden.
We're back.
That will do.
All right. You guys find yourselves, as best as you can, resting for the evening. It is an evening of tossing and turning for a lot of you. Flashes of memories. Scanlan, you're plagued by the thought of your newly discovered daughter being not far outside of the city when all this went down. Percy, you have flashes of the idea of Whitestone just recently saved and brought to freedom, being torn asunder by dragons not 2 weeks afterward. You are plagued by visions of the Pyra, the moment that Thordak must have torn through and the havoc that was wreaked afterward. Both of you can't help but think back to when you first returned to Byrodin and seeing the smoldering ruin that you now know to be the work of the Cinder King 15 years before, and those words about wondering if that was the last thing your mother saw.
Grog, you want that skull?
You want that skull?
Pike, your thoughts go back to Vasselheim and the people there that you, out of necessity and need for friendship and to protect them, left behind, knowing that they would be safe. And now the uncertainty as to whether or not Vasselheim still stands and whether or not you left them to a fate that you could have protected them, and that guilt rides on you as well. You guys complete your long rest, you restore full hit points, and you get back half of your hit dice, of your maximum hit dice. You can only get back half. So if you've spent more than half of your hit dice, you're still at a... Okay, just so you guys are aware of that.
Wait, you only restore half each night?
Yes.
Not half of what's missing, but wait.
Just half.
Yeah. So if you used like 8 of your hit dice, you're only going to get back at level 12 6 hit dice.
Oh, okay.
Good to know. I don't think we used any.
It is a gradual declining resource.
Got it.
Hasn't come up too much beforehand, but I want to make sure you guys are aware of that. Anyway, as you come to in the morning, you can smell. You're used to Lena cooking a very nice breakfast. You smell food being cooked, but it's much more basic, kind of, for the masses. And as you eventually groggily find your way downstairs, pardon the pun, you can see there is essentially a gruel pot, and there is a soup line, and food is being served best of their capabilities to the people that have taken refuge in Grey Skull Keep. You are welcome to do as you please.
Should head out.
I'm ready.
We're just gonna march into the city?
We're gonna march under the city.
Yeah, we're gonna check out that tunnel first.
The tunnel just goes to the other side of the wall.
We don't even know where the tunnel is. We need to find an entrance to said tunnel.
Yeah.
The tunnel actually.
Then,
So it's a tunnel that they built, right? Or that they ordered built. They don't even know where the entrance is? They need to know more about their keep.
well, so I was just saying, then when we get to the city, then we figure out what we do.
Yeah.
Right.
Good thinking.
So, the tunnel has been installed to the back of the kitchen. There is a large pantry there, and the tunnel is a trapdoor that is currently set by the very, very back of the pantry. Actually, not too dissimilar from the entrance to the clasp in the inn, the Diamond Nest Inn. However, it's much smaller, and it's just a small, like, single-person tunnel. You kind of have to go single file, and it's not very tall. Grog, you're gonna have to almost crawl through at your height, and everyone else has to hunch down, except for you, and Pike, you're fine. You guys are tiny enough. This is...
Wait a second. Let's run that back really quick. Not too dissimilar from the entrance to the clasp in the Diamond Nest Inn. And we're probably going to assume, okay, Vox Machina's secret tunnel is not too dissimilar from the clasps in the Diamond Nest Inn. And the clasp has a direct connection that we are generally aware of to Daxio. That's the reason that I'm kind of drawing this up, is because Daxio was most likely the person that, the fucking clasp has connection to a lot of shit. But definitely Riskel Daxio is the main thing that I'm curious about, because Daxio is also probably the person that built this tunnel, because he's like the general architect, right? And that could just be like, oh yeah, Mega, like Riskel built both of them probably. But it does strengthen Riskel and the clasp's connection. Because right now, it was sort of like, oh, Riskel was just using the clasp to like get out of dodge. Like he was just like generally aware of the thieves. But if the thing that we are assuming he built for Vox Machina is similar to the thing that the clasp has, maybe this connection is a little bit more substantial than we originally thought it was.
In the inn, the Diamond Nest Inn. However, it's much smaller, and it's just a small, like, single-person tunnel. You kind of have to go single file, and it's not very tall. Grog, you're gonna have to almost crawl through at your height, and everyone else has to hunch down, except for you, and Pike, you're fine. You guys are tiny enough. This is about a gnome-sized tunnel.
Nice.
And as you guys go...
Matt, Daxio was the man who designed it. Who designed the clasp side out? I don't know if if him designing the clasp side out was specifically mentioned. But rocking the violet Bouldelbun. Oh, I don't know who that is, but sure, thank you. Designed the keep. Yes, yeah, certainly. Yeah. Daxio is like the architect for the keep. That's why I'm saying like he's probably the one who also designed this tunnel, even though it seems like this tunnel came after the fact. What program are you using? Obsidian. It's a very nice note-taking software. I like it a lot.
Into the pantry, and it's like, don't, I'm trying to... Where's everyone going? And just sees you all kind of clown cart into the pantry.
I wanted before we left, I wanted to find Jared really fast.
Okay. Jared is currently outside of the keep in the main courtyard area, crossbow at the ready, just keeping his eyes to the sky, mostly looking off in the direction of Iman.
I walk up and I hand him a bag of 300 gold, and I say, this is far and away so much more than we asked you to do when we hired you, and I appreciate everything you're doing. Take care of the keep. Use this money to take care of the people here.
He takes it and kind of throws it in and catches it. I appreciate that. I take great pride in my work, and I assure you, I will sooner die than let this place fall.
And then I give him an additional 100 gold.
What
just
is
for him.
going on?
Look at her, putting the hand to her head. This is character growth.
Who are you?
As you pass me the 100 gold, he puts his hand up and actually pushes your hand away and says, I appreciate the sentiment, but you've already done too much. You hired me for a reason. I'm doing my job. But your generosity is noted.
It's honorable.
He's a good one, guys.
Is his hair blowing in the wind as he rejects that amount?
His hair's really short.
I
Might have
resist
this
the urge to just mug down with him when I walk away.
Go for
Okay.
it. What are you waiting for?
All right.
Yeah, you might die. You might die.
Yeah.
You guys...
Hello.
Do be careful, Fabulist. If you're not, like, I do think you're right. But if you're not 100% sure that it's been brought up, probably don't risk putting it in chat. We do have a CR spoilers chat in the Discord that you can like confirm if things have been said or not. But if you're not like 1000% sure it's not come up, just don't risk putting it in chat. I'll either live in ignorance or I'll figure it out later. It was definitely mentioned. I'm just saying, Fabulous was like, if I'm remembering correctly, if you're not positive, don't throw it in. But I also think it was mentioned. So it's all good. And that's how Vex does walk away, learning from her brother.
That big pouty bottom lip. Go get that.
Some of that Marquette.
Sexy, exotic accent.
That Ankarim caramel skin. He's
Tall dark balls.
Jared's a hot. Right, so.
I just saw 100 pictures drawn and it's
Good.
With a flare.
Wait, you hear that? It's pens hitting the paper. It's fan fiction right now.
So, as you guys make your way through the tunnel, and it is a long, very simple tunnel. The construction is solid. You don't feel as you walk through that any of it is in worry of collapse. There's been no sufficient seismic activity or impact above ground to warrant that directly above the tunnel. And you continue to trudge ahead. It is pitch black. Those of you with dark vision probably take the forefront.
0 light vision. I'm on it.
I go ahead and light up a hand.
Okay, so you guys, I'll do like low light, dark vision. You're fine. Percy's the only one who really needs the aid in this. But as you continue forward, for a good 25, 30 minutes or so, the tunnel comes to a small stop, and there is a very simple rope ladder that leads upward.
Put my head up.
Okay. Who's going up first?
Anything past that?
The ladder just goes up, and it goes into what looks like a small wooden slat. Like it's not even a door. It's just almost like a wood pallet.
Get up there. See what you see.
Sneaky dick.
Okay, and at the bottom of the ladder, because she's right behind me, you never cease to impress me.
Okay. You go up. Make a stealth check.
25.
All right, good to know. So as you get up to the top, you feel the kind of the wooden slats on top, and as you push, there's not any weight to them. They just give way immediately. And as you push it aside, you can see you're in the inside of a small wooden structure. It is enclosed, and a little bit of the morning light is kind of like an outhouse structure, but there is no actual there with you. There is a door that leads out.
Okay. I will crack it an inch and look through.
Okay. There's a chain on the outside.
No. Bro, it's sorted. Okay, yeah, I'm not seeing dropped frames on my end anymore. Oh, and dude, it's right when I'm gonna. I know exactly what the blip is. I got a notification about someone doing something on my router, and it's a nice thing that they're doing too. That's the extra fun part. Is they're giving me this like fancy fucking like subscription thing. It's a very nice thing that is happening, but it just every time they do something, it just takes down the internet. It's oh, it's very fun. I wish I could have asked them to do it just after the workday, but whatever. It's fine. We roll with the punches.
Outside of the door that keeps it shut, with a big thick lock at the bottom.
At all. I was like, hey, beads, and I was like, yo, it's stay. Please look at all of that a little bit later. Dude. Thank you for the sub, Benjamin. Appreciate you. $11 megabits per second. It's supposed to be about 1,000. Okay. So, we are potentially back, but I'm going to make the fucking call right now. Next round of internet issues, we are calling it, and we are just doing full episode Wednesday. Because right now, we were going to do half episode Monday, we're just going to do voice is bad. Awesome. I love that voice is bad. Robot voice? Awesome. Great. Is it only... I'm dropping I'm dropping frames again. Fucking... Yep. All right. Making the call, getting it in right now while internet seems to be good, so I'll slip it in here right now. We're just doing, yeah. I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna keep this up again. I'm gonna keep this up for a second just so that people can see it.